Chapter 249. At this moment, after being hit by the hair-like lightning tribulation, Lin Rei was paralyzed on the ground. His face was pale, blood was flowing out of the corners of his mouth, and his body was twitching constantly, as if he was having an epileptic seizure. However, the lightning tribulation in the sky did not stop because of Lin Rei's fainting. At this time, the bloody thunderclouds in the sky were still rolling, and the lightning in the thunderclouds was brewing. Boom! Gotcha! Suddenly, a hair-like lightning tribulation rushed out of the thunderclouds and rushed toward Lin Rei. In an instant, another lightning tribulation struck Lin Rei's body. If others saw this, the first thought in their mind would be that this was the rhythm of King corpse being whipped. In the distance, hundreds of people of the Dark Department wanted to rush forward to help their sect master Lin Rei resist the lightning tribulation. However, to their surprise, when the second lightning tribulation condensed, their bodies became motionless, as if they had grown in the desert. They could not move, except for their mouths. Even their cultivation of the Mahayana realm and their spiritual power were sealed. Hundreds of people of the Dark Department were like this, so Su Bo and Murongyu, who were only in the Gold Core realm, were even more embarrassed. At this time, when the lightning tribulation formed, Su Bo and Murongyu, without the protection of the people of the Dark Department, were directly knocked unconscious by the second thundercloud. Fortunately, they were not seriously injured, and temporarily entered a state of dormancy. At this moment, they could do nothing but feel anxious. Not far away, Lin Rei, who was being whipped by the lightning tribulation, did not disappear after being attacked by the first lightning tribulation. Instead, he appeared in the system. At this moment, Lin Rei was in a dark space, and his heart was full of panic as he looked around. Although he could feel that he was in the system space at this time, he sensed that he could not control them like in other system spaces. As soon as this situation appeared, Lin Rei panicked. If he knew that the system had recognized him as its master, then if he could not control any place in the system, it meant that the system had not completely recognized him as its master. If this was the case, then Lin Rei was even more panicked. If he had known that an artifact couldn't completely recognize a person as its master, then it wouldn't have been worth using it. This was because there were all kinds of dangerous factors that he didn't know about. That was why Linley was in such a mood right now. F***ck, what the hell is going on? Why, I have clearly passed the lightning tribulation, why is it still attacking me? At this moment, not only was Lin Rei anxious for the system space, but he was also puzzled by the lightning tribulation that appeared out of nowhere. This was what puzzled him the most. Little dragon, hurry up and come out. I have a bunch of questions to ask you. Hurry up and come out. Lin Rei couldn't understand all the answers at this moment. He couldn't help but shout the little dragon's name into the system space. His voice was filled with anger and doubt, and his eyes were also filled with anger as he looked at the sky, waiting for the little dragon to appear. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes later, there was still no sign of any figure, which made Lin Rei even more anxious. Little dragon, hurry up and come out. Explain to me what exactly is going on. Once again, Lin Rei didn't see any figure or voice, so he roared into the sky again. But this time, it was different. After Lin Rei roared into the system space, a figure that made Lin Rei furious appeared in the sky with a smile on his face. His hands were behind his back like a big boss. Alright, stop yelling. I'm here, aren't I? Xiaolong, who was in midair, had a smile on his face as he spoke to Linley in a calm voice. Humph, you still have the nerve to say that. Let's not talk about the lightning tribulation first. Let's talk about this system space. Didn't you say that the system has already recognized me as its master? Why can't I control it? You have to know that if I can't control a magical artifact, I will choose to give it up. No matter what the consequences are, I will accept it. At this moment, Lin Rei saw the little dragon's expression and became ruthless. He was glad that what he wanted was the full right to use the system space and not part of it. If that was the case, he would rather not have it. Huh, don't you think you're dreaming? Before this, you have to understand that the system is not a magical device, nor is it an immortal device. Don't compare the system with those trash. Also, you have to remember that with your current strength, you can only unlock 2% of the system's usage rights. The system's strength is not something you can understand with common sense. Therefore, if you want to use it more, you have to pay a price that ordinary people can't bear, and work hard to unlock the unknown rights that can't be unlocked. Are you satisfied with my answer? At this moment, the little dragon in the sky answered Lin Rei's question unhurriedly. At the same time, he also mentioned some rules that Lin Rei didn't know before. It was at this moment that Lin Rei finally understood the strength of the system space. Alright, then let's not talk about the system space. Let's talk about the lightning tribulation. I have clearly passed through 81 lightning tribulations. Why did the 82nd lightning tribulation appear? What exactly is going on? At this moment, Lin Rei's heart was filled with indescribable doubts. He wanted to immediately voice them out, but this was the most important thing. If he had known earlier, his consciousness would have been in the system space, while his physical body outside was being whipped by the lightning tribulation. That's an even better explanation. Let me first explain the situation of your lightning tribulation to you from the beginning. Upon hearing Lin Rei's question, the little dragon walked down from the sky with a smile on his face. He only stopped when he was walking side by side with Lin Rei. First, that wasn't the 82nd lightning tribulation, but a new one. Therefore, what you experienced was a double lightning tribulation. Furthermore, each lightning tribulation was extraordinary. At this point, the smile on the little dragon's face disappeared at this moment. All that was left was a solemn and formal expression. The first lightning tribulation you experienced was the most mysterious lightning tribulation of all lightning tribulations. It was called the Purple Heaven Divine Lightning. If you were the slightest bit careless, this lightning tribulation would cause your soul to scatter and never be reincarnated. Therefore, the fact that you were able to pass through the first lightning tribulation with your current cultivation base is a miracle. Lin Rei sucked in a breath of cold air. After listening to the little dragon's description of the lightning tribulation he had just experienced, he couldn't help but feel a chill run down his spine. Then why did such a lightning tribulation appear when you took me through the lightning tribulation? Based on what you're saying, shouldn't this lightning tribulation appear? At this moment, the more Lin Rei listened, the more confused he became. He didn't know why such a lightning tribulation would appear during his lightning tribulation. You brat, you're still pretending to be innocent after receiving such a benefit. Do you know how great it would be if you were able to pass through the Purple Heaven Divine Lightning at your level? Furthermore, for such a lightning tribulation to appear at your level, it means that you've always been heaven-defying. However, the second lightning tribulation is even more impressive. It's called the God-Annihilating Thunder. As the name suggests, this kind of lightning tribulation can directly annihilate a god. However, I find it strange that this kind of lightning tribulation would appear in your lightning tribulation. Furthermore, it's the second lightning tribulation of a double lightning tribulation. From the little dragon's words, it seemed that he also didn't know what was going on. After hearing this, Lin Rei didn't know what to do. Generally speaking, the little dragon was an omniscient existence in his knowledge. However, at this moment, even the little dragon didn't know what was going on. Then what should I do? My physical body is still undergoing the lightning tribulation outside, but my consciousness isn't in my body. Tell me, will this be okay? At this moment, after hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Rei began to worry about death. He comforted his physical body that was outside. He didn't want to become a lonely ghost that didn't even feel like he had a physical body. Don't worry. Your physical body will be fine. Moreover, it will only make him stronger. Perhaps, at this moment, your bloodline physique will also be activated. At this point, Lin Rei saw the look of anticipation on the little dragon's face. Moreover, Lin Rei didn't really understand the bloodline physique that the little dragon mentioned. Lin Rei knew about bloodline physique, but Lin Rei knew very little about physique. What bloodline physique? How can I have a bloodline physique? Isn't this physique passed down from the previous generation? Moreover, as far as I know, my father is an ordinary person, and my mother is also an ordinary person. Hee hee. After hearing Lin Rei's words, the little dragon smiled and said, "You don't understand. Bloodline physique isn't passed down from the previous generation. It's something that he possesses himself. Therefore, what you're talking about is only an ordinary bloodline physique." Oh. After hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Rei nodded as if he understood. However, Lin Rei didn't really understand. Sigh. It's obvious that you don't understand. Seeing Lin Rei nod, the little dragon couldn't help but sigh. He explained to Lin Rei again, "The god annihilating thunder is now activating your bloodline physique for you. Therefore, you don't have to worry. After the thunder tribulation, you'll be fine and your recovery will be even faster. Moreover, people with bloodline physiques are favored by the heavens and earth. Therefore, you don't have to worry. You just have to stay here for a while. After the god annihilating thunder passes, you can leave." "Oh, then what kind of physique do I have?" After hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Rei heaved a sigh of relief. The worry in his heart was finally put down. However, he felt that his physique was just like what the little dragon said. If his physique was good, then it would be even better. Your physique is the supreme physique in the entire Hongmeng. It's also known as the supreme physique of the Hongmeng. This kind of physique is naturally supreme. Moreover, people with the supreme physique of the Hongmeng are like born supreme. Even if you start out ordinary, you will definitely become a formidable person in the future. At this moment, when the little dragon mentioned the supreme physique, it was as if he was an admirer. His eyes were filled with admiration, and his face was filled with a happy smile. Looking at the little dragon's expression, Lin Rei couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart. He quickly distanced himself from the little dragon. Moreover, once the supreme physique and bloodline are activated, the color of your blood will turn from red to purple. So, you have to be very, very careful in the future. Especially when you go to the upper realm, you must not get hurt easily. A physique like yours is something that everyone is fighting to get. Therefore, your future path will be even more difficult. After listening to the little dragon's description of the supreme physique of the Hongmeng, although Lin Rei had a calm temperament, Lin Rei still couldn't resist this temptation. Then what are the benefits of my physique? Apart from the purple bloodline, is there anything else that's different? This. For a moment, Lin Rei's words stunned the little dragon. To be honest, that was all the little dragon knew. He didn't know anything else. What he knew was from the ancient books in the system capital. In his consciousness, it only showed that his future master was a supreme physique of the Hongmeng. Therefore, he knew very little about this physique and could only tell Lin Rei that much. However, Little Dragon couldn't tell Lin Rei such things. After spending such a long time together, the Little Dragon understood Lin Rei very well. If he said that, Lin Rei would definitely laugh out loud and say something like, "Half-baked, I thought you knew it too. Does it hurt? This kind of thing depends on you. I've told you too much today. So, when you get more exchange points in the future, I'll take away the reward for today's questions." These words made Lin Li feel the urge to curse all 18 generations of its ancestors out of his mind. "Okay, you're good. You're too good. I won't submit to anyone except you." There was no other way. Lin Rei knew that as long as he didn't want to say it, he wouldn't say it no matter how tempting it was. Therefore, Lin Rei gave up. Anyway, there was still a long way to go. In the outside world, the thunderclouds in the sky had already shot out 35 bolts of tribulation lightning. Each bolt struck Lin Li's body, but the strange thing was, with each strike, Lin Li's body would grow stronger. Furthermore, the damage that the purple heaven godly thunder had inflicted on him earlier, under the attack of the godly annihilation thunder, actually began to heal. Right now, Lin Li's body had been completely healed by the godly annihilation thunder, and he didn't feel any discomfort. What was more powerful was that the pressure around Lin Rei was also increasing with the attack of the god-vanquishing thunder. If the people of the dark group were here, they would definitely discover that Lin Rei's cultivation had already risen from the peak of the crossing Calamity realm to the peak of the Mahayana realm. In the red thunderclouds, a thunder tribulations as thick as a little finger rushed out and rushed directly to the top of Lin Rei's head. All of a sudden, it drilled in. And right at this moment, a terrifying surge of power began to emanate from Linley's body. This kind of aura was a kind of particularly simple and unadorned aura that revealed the firmament. It made people feel suffocated from the heart. Chapter 250. In the system space, the little dragon said to Lin Rei with a smile, "All right, you can go out. Even though the Grand Mist Sovereign's physique and bloodline haven't been fully activated by the god-annihilating solitary lightning, there should be a lot of benefits. As for what benefits they are, it depends on your comprehension. I can't help you with this matter." "Really?" When Linley heard Xiaolong's words, he jumped to his feet and questioned Xiaolong, "You really don't know the uses of the Grand Mist Sovereign's physique and bloodline? Maybe you don't want to tell me." Xiaolong's words made Linley, who had been restless all this time, jump to his feet. At this moment, Lin Rei could not believe it. He had been saying that he was the system spirit in the entire Hongmeng that could predict the fate of the world and knew everything. However, at this moment, he said that he did not know. This made Lin Rei unable to believe that what the little dragon said was true. "Humph, it's fine if you don't believe me. However, I want to tell you that you must not tell anyone about this matter. Even if it's your son, Jean Ling, or the person closest to you, they must not know about your physique. If others know about it, it will cause you unimaginable trouble. Don't blame me for not reminding you." At this moment, the little dragon was not angry at Lin Rei's words. Instead, he warned Lin Rei with a serious expression. It seemed that this matter was very serious. "As for who that person is, I can't tell you, but I can only tell you that that person is someone you can't afford to offend no matter what. Together with me, none of us are good people. So, you should obediently do your own things in the future. If there's nothing important, don't blindly join in the fun. If there's something important, you have to quickly learn your skills in the future. I don't want you to die so soon. If you were to be exposed like this, I can't afford to lose my old face." "Yes, that person." Lin Rei wasn't annoyed by the little dragon's scolding. It was just that Lin Rei had heard the little dragon mention that person's name twice in the past few days. For a moment, his curiosity was piqued by the little dragon. What made Lin Rei incredulous was that the little dragon actually said that he was nothing in front of that person. This was something that the little dragon had never said before. This made Lin Rei even more suspicious. He didn't know who that person was. Even if he asked the little dragon, Lin Rei believed that he would never tell him. Therefore, Lin Rei didn't go forward to ask. Instead, he waited for the little dragon to tell him. "All right, I'll go out first. I'll remember your words. After I'm done with my business in the next few days, I plan to go to the cultivation planet to cultivate. Therefore, the previous agreement of 10 years shouldn't be needed anymore." After saying that, Lin Rei didn't wait for the little dragon's reply. With a thought, Lin Rei's consciousness disappeared from this space. When he reappeared, Lin Rei had returned to his transformed body. At this moment, the little dragon, who was still in the system space, looked at the sky with a solemn expression and sighed. "Sigh. You really know how to play. I thought that if I let him cultivate like this, I could still have 2 days of peace. I didn't expect that you wouldn't let me. You even let him activate the Hongmeng Supreme Constitution and Bloodline in advance. I'm afraid that person knows about it now." At this moment, the little dragon's heart was filled with worry. When he thought of that person's cultivation and ability, his body began to tremble involuntarily. In a place far, far away, there was a space. What was strange was that other places were filled with all sorts of colors. There were trees, flowers, and all sorts of animals. But here, there was only gray. Let alone flowers, trees, and trees, there wasn't even a single bird to be seen. However, at the top of this space, there was a throne. On the throne sat a middle-aged man with his eyes closed. Although this space was gray, one could still faintly see that the clothes of the man sitting on the throne were exuding a magnificent light. Although it was only a moment ago, this magnificent light was a kind of light that had the power to destroy heaven and earth. Sigh. You've finally appeared, you've finally appeared. The Hongmeng Supreme Constitution and Bloodline. I've been waiting for you for so long that I've even forgotten the time. I didn't expect you to finally appear. Suddenly, in the originally silent gray space, after a sigh, a voice spoke with excitement. Judging from the fluctuations in the tone of the voice, the person who spoke was very excited. It could even be said that he was so excited that he couldn't control himself. With a swoosh, the middle-aged man who was originally sitting on the throne opened his tightly shut eyes at this moment. Golden light flashed in his eyes, and a destructive aura rushed out of his body and rushed in all directions. Perhaps because of his excitement, the moment the aura rushed out, it was blocked by the space barrier. Perhaps because the aura was blocked, the middle-aged man's aura was severely damaged, and his body instantly withered. But I forgot, sigh. It seems that after sleeping for a long time, even a man can't function well. At this moment, the middle-aged man laughed self-deprecatingly, and his eyes instantly became sharp. With the appearance of the Hongmeng Supreme Constitution and Bloodline, the system that was bred by Hongmeng should have found a host. Perhaps the Hongmeng Supreme Constitution and Bloodline were developed by the system. Listening to the middle-aged man muttering to himself, one could tell that he seemed to understand the system in Lin Rei's body very well. However, if the system was here, it would definitely recognize the middle-aged man sitting on the throne. He was the person that the little dragon had mentioned twice. I, Sheng, as the master of Hongmeng's laws, don't believe that I can't find the Hongmeng Supreme Constitution with my strength. Just you wait. When I find the person you're cultivating, I'll let you know that you want to break the seal on Hongmeng and let all the other masters of Hongmeng kill me. Dream on. Sheng was the master of the laws of the Hongmeng era, and at the same time, he was the reason why the Hongmeng era was sealed. Back then, when Sheng wanted to dominate the entire Hongmeng era and create his own dynasty, the other masters found out and worked together to seal the Hongmeng era. However, as a price, they had to be used as the eye of the formation to suppress the master of the laws. The only way to break the seal on Hongmeng was to find the Hongmeng Supreme Constitution and Bloodline and use their bloodline and body as a sacrifice to remove the seal. This was why the system and the master of the laws wanted to obtain Lin Rei. However, their goals were different. The system wanted to destroy the master of the laws, while the master of the laws wanted to use Lin Rei's constitution and bloodline to build his own era and destroy the other masters of the laws. So, two people who looked exactly like the middle-aged man appeared below. Judging from their auras, there was no difference between the two. The only difference was that the demonic man sitting on the throne was much more imposing and dignified than the middle-aged man below. Go, tell the leader of the Qiankuan sect in the Holy World to send a message to the Qiankuan sect in the immortal, and cultivation realms. Tell them to find someone with purple blood and capture him. Remember, regardless of life or death, you just need to hold on to his body and bloodline for a few days. Remember, look for him in all realms and find him as soon as possible. At that moment, the law master, Sheng, who was sitting on his seat, said to the people below him. I understand. Don't worry. I'll tell them what you want. However, it'll be difficult to find him. You know that every realm is extremely vast. Even you, a master of the laws in Hongmeng, can't say that you've traveled through all of them, let alone those ants. So, if you want to find someone with the supreme physique and bloodline of Hongmeng, you'll have to wait for a while. That's fine. I've already waited for so long. Why would I care about a little more time? Alright, you can go now. After traveling for so long, my will is weakening. Although the rulers of the realms aren't my match, their formations are still very harmful to me. So, I'll have to sleep every once in a while. So, you don't have to come back for the time being. Just stay in the holy world and wait for news from all realms. Alright, I got it. The Law Master's clone below nodded in agreement. As for his original body, he fell asleep again the moment he finished talking to him. Ming's clone did not disturb him when he saw this. He directly passed through the barrier of space and made his way to the Saint's world. He went to the cosmic sect in the Saint's world to express his will to live as a Law Master. If the little dragon in the system knew about this, he wouldn't be surprised. This was because the little dragon had already guessed this would happen. So, he was most worried about Lin Ray now. In the middle of the Sahara Desert on planet Aqua Blue, Lin Ray sat in a huge pit with his eyes closed, enjoying the thrill of breaking through. I've finally broken through to the Mahayana realm. However, I didn't expect to break through to the peak of the Mahayana realm. What surprised me even more was that my physical body, which hadn't broken through for so long, broke through at this moment. It even broke through to the level of a low-grade immortal weapon. TSK, how good would it be if I could do this again? Phew. After letting out a long breath, Lin Ray immediately absorbed the surrounding pressure into his body. Slowly, Lin Ray opened his eyes. In an instant, a purple light flashed and didn't linger for long. Crack, crack, crack. Lin Ray slowly stood up. Suddenly, the sound of bones cracking could be heard. It was a very terrifying sound. Chapter 251. Ah! Awesome, awesome. At this moment, Lin Ray's expression was completely replaced by excitement. He was like a child, very cute. Phew. This is awesome. All the discomfort and injuries I received during the heavenly tribulation have been healed. At this moment, when he came back to his senses and calmed down, he looked down. At this moment, he no longer looked like a human or a ghost. At this moment, his skin was many times better than that of a normal newborn child. His skin was like white jade, and his bones were like crystal, without any impurities. Moreover, his white hair, which had been causing him headaches, was completely healed at this moment. However, what made Lin Ray a little unhappy was that his white hair was gone. At this moment, his hair was faintly discernible purple, which was even more demonic than the white hair from before. Alas. Forget it, it doesn't matter anyway. It's much better than white. After saying that, Lin Ray did not pay attention to the other changes on his body. At this moment, what he was most nervous about was that he was not wearing a single piece of clothing, not even a piece of underwear. He was naked in the huge pit. F***CK, F***CK, heavenly thunder of purple cloud, you can't be serious. I won't say anything if you destroyed my set of celestial artifacts, but can you be more shameless? Why did you destroy my underwear? As he complained about the heavenly thunder of purple cloud, he thought of something and took out a set of clothes from the ring. Then, he put them on quickly and quickly. Lin Ray, who was neatly dressed, was relieved at this moment. Before world weariness, he would not have the face to stand naked like this. If he had known that there were satellites from various countries in outer space, Lin Ray's every move here could be detected by them. He did not want to be naked in front of the leaders of various countries. If that was the case, he would rather die. Lin Ray, who was about to leave, turned his head and saw the Emu 10,000 Law's sword, which was stuck in the ground not far away, emitting a faint glimmer. I didn't expect you to survive the heavenly thunder of purple heaven. That's great. Previously, when it collided with the last heavenly thunder of purple heaven, all the immortal weapons were shattered. Linley thought that the Emu 10,000 art sword would not be spared. But now, it seemed that this was not the case at all. At this moment, the Emu 10,000 art sword was in good condition, without any damage on the ground. Moreover, it seemed to be even stronger than before. This made Lin Ray a little surprised. He knew that the Emu 10,000 magical sword was an item without a grade. Since it could withstand the attack of the heavenly tribulation without shattering, one could imagine how strong it was. Old man, it's good that it's not broken. We can continue to fight side by side in the future. With that, Lin Rei grabbed the hilt of the Emu 10,000 Laws sword and pulled it out of the ground. As expected, after being baptized by the heavenly thunder of purple heaven, you are indeed different. You are actually many times stronger than before. At this moment, Lin Rei did not have time to appreciate the changes of the Emu 10,000 Laws sword. He looked at it and directly put it away. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for breaking through to the Mahayana realm. The reward is 50 kilograms of purple gold divine iron and a book of lightning changes footwork, royal level cultivation method. When practiced to the peak, the host can cross a continent in the immortal realm. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for breaking through to the middle stage of the Mahayana realm. The reward is a middle grade fairy weapon set, carefree, and a formation, royal level formation book. When practiced to the Mahayana realm, the host can set up a formation around the general trend. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for breaking through to the late stage of the Mahayana realm. The reward is the Heaven and Earth Bell, a top-grade fairy weapon, a rare spatial magic treasure. The most difficult thing is that the time inside is different from the time outside. It can adjust the time according to the host's cultivation. If the host is now at the peak of the Mahayana realm, it can adjust the time in 1001. 100 days inside the Heaven and Earth Bell is 1 day outside. Damn, this is going to defy the heavens. With the Heaven and Earth Bell, I can do whatever I want in the future. Just when Lin Rei was about to go out and meet with Su Bo and the others, the system's rewards for breaking through suddenly arrived, and each reward was more powerful than the previous one. Especially after hearing about the magical effects of the Heaven and Earth Bell, Lin Rei's heart, which had just been silent, was reignited at this moment. However, looking at the situation, it seemed that it was not over yet, and there seemed to be more to come. Thinking about it, the system's voice came again. Congratulations to the host for breaking through to the peak of the Mahayana realm. The reward is the Heaven Temple, a high-grade fairy weapon, which can be used in the main hall of the sect. The style is simple and elegant, and it is a powerful celestial device that can be used to attack and defend. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for breaking through to the low-grade fairy weapon. The reward is the Tyrant Body Technique, and royal level physical training method. When practiced to the peak, the host can form a golden body, which is unstoppable. A dazzling array of treasures appeared in Lin Rei's storage ring, and Lin Rei's heart could not help but want to rush in and see the use of these things. However, before Lin Rei could think of anything, a light screen appeared in front of him, and all his information was on it. Name, Lin Rei. Age, 24. Cultivation, peak of the Mahayana realm. Experience, 3 billion/3, 6 billion. Spiritual roots, thunder, fire, wood, gold, 4 chaos. Spiritual roots. Talent, peak of the earthly celestial realm. Cultivation method, first stage of the chaos scripture, incomplete. Devouring heaven method, growable. Hongmeng elixir refining, entry-level cultivation method. Cloud formula, royal level cultivation method. Formation, royal level cultivation method. Tyrant body technique, royal level. Cultivation method, martial skills, butterfly steps, entry-level. Star finger, proficient. Silent thunder spear art, high-level profound martial skill, now practiced to the entry-level, can produce 3 thunderbolts. Myriad sword art, heavenly level, level 3. Incineration, royal level. Dragon subduing step, royal level. Shura spear art, king level. Shura sword formation, king level. Divine changes, royal level. Spiritual treasures, martial emperor godly spear, high level spiritual chi. Growable, myriad magic sword, gradeless. Myriad beasts furnace, heaven and earth bell, supreme grade celestial artifact. Heavenly temple, upper grade celestial artifact. Equipment, cloud stepping boots, supreme grade spiritual artifact. Purple cloud robe, supreme grade spiritual artifact. Purple cloud inner armor, supreme grade spiritual artifact. Purple jade crown, supreme grade celestial artifact. Purple jade wood king hairpin, supreme grade celestial artifact. Middle grade celestial artifact. Set carefree. Mount, red flame tiger, advanced stage of crossing calamity, lucky draw wheel. 2 war general draw system, the War General draw opportunity has been used up, and this system has been permanently sealed. Reputation points, 130,000 exchange points, 0 spiritual stones, 0 earth, level alchemist, 3685050000, top-level spiritual medicine, heavenly materials and earthly treasures, 50 kilograms of purple gold nephrite, 50 kilograms of purple gold sand, 50 kilograms of purple gold divine iron. Subsidiary task, within 300 years, reach the cultivation level that the system thinks of. If you can't complete it, the system has the right to kill you directly. When your strength has increased again, rescue the suppressed Paisho. Elixir pills, 11 mind control pills, 8,000 mind control pills. Hee, not bad. I didn't expect that I would have so much wealth. TSK, not bad. At this moment, Lin Rei couldn't help but nod his head after reading all his information. However, he immediately softened. Sigh. There are still tens of thousands of disciples to support. Now, this little bit of wealth is not enough for 10,000 people. It seems that I have to work harder in the future. Otherwise, the sect will collapse. Chapter 252. After learning about his current level, information, and all his assets, Lin Rei walked out of the huge pit with a worried expression. Thinking about how he still had tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands, or even millions of people to support, Lin Li hurriedly mustered up all his energy and began to put his life on the line. Since I've chosen this path and chosen to establish the Jotian Trading Company, I shouldn't give up. Now it's just a small number of people. Maybe there will be millions of people to support in the future. The only thing I can do for them is to give them a good environment to grow up in. Then I'll throw them out and let them transfer money to me. Then I'll support others. I'm so smart. At this time, if everyone in the Jotian Xuanzong sect knew his thoughts and saw his face, they would think of a word that was especially suitable for Lin Rei, profiteer. After thinking of a solution, he regained his usual calmness and strolled toward the dark group. Although it was difficult to walk, it was still a distance of 100 feet per step. Soon, Lin Rei arrived in front of the dark group. However, the members of the dark group were still under the pressure of the god-destroying lone thunder. Although the god-destroying lone thunder had disappeared, the remaining pressure was still able to do this. Seeing this, Lin Rei smiled slightly, and then waved his right hand forward with spiritual power. Suddenly, the pressure of the god-destroying thunder that enveloped the hundreds of people was dispelled by Lin Rei's spiritual power. Dong, dong. The moment the pressure disappeared, the hundreds of dark group members who regained their freedom knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Lin Rei. We are the disciples of the Xuanzong sect. Thank you, sect leader, for releasing us. Congratulations on breaking through to the Mahayana stage. At this moment, the hundreds of dark group members looked at Lin Rei with gratitude and excitement. Their voices shook the world and resounded through the sky. As for Su Bo and Muromu, who had already regained their freedom, when the two of them saw the hundreds of members of the dark unit kneeling on the ground and kowtowing to their second brother, and even calling out the two words, Sect Master, from their mouths, it seemed that the current Lin Li was like an immortal that had descended from the 9 heavens, incomparably divine. We're not in the cultivation world now. This is the mortal world. Therefore, all the rules that can be waived should be waived as much as possible. When you're in the cultivation world, you can do the sex etiquette. There's no need for that here. Looking at the disciples kneeling on the ground, Lin Rei felt a little gratified. But more importantly, Lin Rei had completely regarded them as his brothers. Therefore, Lin Rei didn't care about these complicated formalities. No, sect leader. You gave us a second chance at life. If it wasn't for you, perhaps we would be in the profound sky continent now, or perhaps we would still be a group of children begging for food on the streets. Therefore, no matter when or where we are, we will always be like this to sect leader. Because this is our respect for sect leader. After listening to their words, Lin Rei knew that no matter what he said, they wouldn't listen to him. Therefore, Lin Rei didn't need to say anything more. Okay, Okay, all of you get up. I've made a breakthrough. Therefore, during this period of time, all of you can go to my new magic treasure to practice. I believe that in there, you will be able to consolidate your unstable foundation even faster. Ah. Really? At this moment, hearing Lin Rei's words, the members of the dark group were all excited. Because they knew that their sect leader's magic treasure was very powerful. Their cultivation alone was enough to express everything. Yes, but remember, don't try to break through the earthly immortal realm. There is no spiritual chi here. Therefore, even if you break through to the earthly immortal realm, you will only be in the earthly immortal realm like the earthly immortals we met before. Do you understand? At this moment, Lin Rei had to warn them. If they really broke through to the earthly immortal realm and became earthly immortals like the 5 ancestors, Lin Rei would rather they were in the ordinary Mahayana realm. Hearing Lin Rei's words, all the members of the dark group hurriedly bowed and nodded to Lin Rei. Yes, sect leader. Don't worry. Alright, you guys stay inside and consolidate your cultivation. It's best if you start cultivating from body tempering, layer by layer. This way, your spiritual energy will be even purer and your strength will increase even more. Finally, after reminding them, he recited a paragraph. After obtaining the bell of heaven and earth, it went deep into his mind to open the bell of heaven and earth. Suddenly, a divine sense enveloped all the members of the dark group. In the next moment, hundreds of members of the dark group disappeared in front of him. When they reappeared, they were already in the bell of heaven and earth. Alright, you guys can stay here and cultivate. According to what I said before, you should start cultivating from the body forging realm, level by level. I have adjusted the time here for you. 100 days here is only 1 day outside. So, don't worry about it. In the bell of heaven and earth, Lin Rei looked at all the members of the dark group who had entered into cultivation and said to them. Then, his divine sense returned to his body. At this moment, Lin Rei, who had returned to his body, opened his eyes, exhaled, and muttered to himself, "Phew. It's finally done." At this moment, Lin Li didn't notice at all that Su Bo and Murongyu had already seen what was going on. It was as if Lin Li had performed a magic trick, causing those hundreds of people who had been talking and laughing just a moment ago to disappear in front of their eyes. This was something that the two of them had never seen before. Thus, Lin Li sympathized with their shock and astonishment. How is it? This opportunity should be of great significance to you, right? Lin Rei, who came back to his senses, asked Su Bo and Murongyu, who were staring at him with their mouths agape. Hey, what are you two doing? Although I know that I'm very handsome, I feel embarrassed when you look at me like this. Seeing their appearance, Lin Rei directly said a joke. Suddenly, the two of them came back to their senses and pretended to be disgusted, bending over and vomiting. Ugh. Ugh. I say, second brother. Can you do it or not? You're making me think that you're gay. Su Bo, who was vomiting, looked at Lin Rei, who had a smug smile on his face, and couldn't help but say. Yes, that's what I thought too. I didn't expect second brother to be so. The words of the two immediately made Lin Rei's head full of black lines. What do you mean by seen gay? Damn it, the words of the two of you really make me want to give the two of you a hammer each. At this time, Lin Rei was also disgusted by Su Bo and Murongyu, but he did not think that the two of them would be so exaggerated. Okay, stop pretending. Stand up. I still have something to discuss with you. At this moment, Lin Rei said to them with a serious face, as if what he was going to say next was very important to them. Oh. Hearing Lin Rei's words, the two of them nodded sadly and stood up. They looked at Lin Rei face to face, and the grievance on their faces also disappeared at this moment. Okay, what I'm going to say next may be what I mean, and you may not agree with it. Of course, this is only a discussion with you. So, whether you want to hear it or not depends on your own wishes. Suddenly, Lin Rei's words directly stunned the two of them. What is it? Second brother, hurry up and say it. I'm dying of impatience. At this time, listening to their second brother speak halfway was a huge torture for them. It seems that you can't wait to hear what I'm going to say. Looking at their impatience, Lin Rei said with a smile. You have a brief understanding of my strength just now. Of course, you don't know how long it took me to cultivate to this level. What? At this moment, the two of them looked at Lin Rei with puzzlement. Although they wanted to know how their second brother, who had no cultivation before, became so powerful in just a few years and was able to fight against 5 earthly immortals, they also knew that the more they knew, the more dangerous it would be for them. So, at this time, the two of them were puzzled as to why Lin Rei was telling them this now. It took me 11 years, but in this world's time, it took me 3 years. Compared to you, you are also very confused. As for the specific things that happened in these years, you don't need to know. What I want to tell you now is, do you want to have the same strength as me, or even stronger, to be strong enough to open such a space? This heavy question directly smashed into their heads. For a moment, their minds went blank. They didn't know what to say. At this moment, Su Bo's brain short-circuited. Perhaps for you, the Mahayana realm is already enough for you, but I want to tell you that the Mahayana realm is just the beginning of cultivation. Although the lifespan of the Mahayana realm is tens of thousands of years or even hundreds of thousands of years, don't you want to see the higher realms? See if there is only the devil space other than this space, see how vast they are, see their majestic world. While Su Bo and the other man's brains were short-circuiting, Lin Li didn't stop trying to dissuade them. Seeing the way Su Bo and the other man were acting, Lin Li thought that they weren't willing, so he began to say all sorts of nice things. As for the dangerous things, Lin Li didn't say them. After a long, long time, they were still staring blankly ahead. No one knew what they were thinking in their minds. Seeing this, Lin Li's face revealed a look of disappointment. Alas. It seems that I'm too anxious. Perhaps I don't have much time in this space. It's been hard on you. Chapter 253. Lin Rei thought that they didn't want to follow him when he saw that they didn't have any expression or action after he finished speaking. Lin Rei was very disappointed, but after all, this was their choice. Lin Rei couldn't influence them. Therefore, the only thing he could do was to improve their cultivation. However, Lin Rei didn't know that the amount of information he said was too much. Therefore, for the two of them who lived in the mortal world, this was an earth-shattering event. They had to take their time to sort out the information. Lin Rei turned around with a disappointed expression and was about to leave when suddenly, a scream came from behind him. Instantly, Lin Rei, who was caught off guard, was startled. Ah. Really, really? He turned around. At this time, the expressions of the two of them were completely different from before. Their eyes were empty and without any spirit. Right now, the eyes of the two were shining, and the look of shock and excitement on their faces was enough to drown Lin Li out. At this time, Lin Rei realized that they were shocked by the information he said. Second brother, was what you said just now true? Did you really use only 3 years to cultivate to this level? Also, did you just say that you want to go to a higher cultivation world than us? That's right, that's right. Furthermore, can we also head to a higher plane? At this time, the two of them were incoherent and scrambling to ask questions. For a moment, Lin Rei smiled foolishly and didn't know whose question he should answer first. Yes. Yes, I do want to take you and the two of you away from here. However, as for whether you agree or not, it's up to you. I just want to say that I will only take the two of you. As for your parents, I won't take them. At this moment, Lin Rei didn't want them to misunderstand, so he said this in advance. This way, they could avoid their previous relationship. Sure enough, after Lin Rei finished speaking, the two of them who were originally excited instantly fell silent. Lin Rei knew that they had lived with their parents for a long time. If he wanted them to suddenly leave now, they wouldn't be willing. I know it's difficult for you, but you have to know that you can come back and pick them up yourself." With just one sentence, they immediately returned to their previous state of excitement. "We can come back and pick them up ourselves, but how do we come back? We don't know about this." Haha. Linley smiled and said to them, "Once you're strong enough, you can even go to other places by yourself, let alone here. So, if you're willing, once you're strong enough, you can come back here to pick up your parents and go to a higher plane to recuperate. Also, in a few hundred years, I'll come back again. At that time, you can also choose to come back with me, or even come back early on your own. That's fine too." After Lin Ray finished speaking, they fell silent. After a long time, when they raised their heads again, the hesitation in their eyes had disappeared. At this moment, there was nothing but determination in their eyes. "Okay, second brother, I will go with you. I want to become strong. When the time comes, I will bring my parents over and let them live forever." To Lin Ray's surprise, the first to speak was not Su Bo, but Murongyu, who had been silent all this time, spoke. "I promise you that I will help you break through to a higher realm as soon as possible so that you can meet your family as soon as possible. However, before that, I have to tell you that the cultivation world is not like here. Over there, killing and robbing are as common as eating a meal. There are no police officers who kill people, only people with strength. The weak are prey to the strong, and strength is respected. As long as you have strength, they will respect you. But if you don't have strength, even if they kill you, you won't have more people to help you. Just like an ant, no one will know even if you die." At this moment, seeing that they had agreed, Lin Ray told them about the dangers of the cultivation world. He didn't want to lie to them. I know, second brother. Since I have chosen to go, I have already prepared to die. So, you don't need to say any more. I, Murongyu, will definitely go to the cultivation world. Moreover, not only will I go, I will also create a career and a reputation. I will let my descendants become my shadow and live for generations." After a series of ambitious words came out of Murongyu's mouth, Lin Ray no longer felt that his fourth brother was the weak person who only knew how to come up with plans. "Okay, since it's like this, let's go. After I find my mother, I will go to another cultivation planet. You guys should be prepared at any time, and you are only allowed to tell your parents about this matter. As for the others, it's best if they don't know about it, and this matter is only limited to your parents. As for the others, if one knows, I will kill one, if two know, I will kill two, and I will not care if they are your clansmen or not, do you understand?" At this moment, Lin Ray was no longer the gentle and refined person from before. The current Lin Ray was filled with killing intent. This killing intent rushed straight at them, causing them to feel as if they were about to suffocate. We understand. Don't worry, I will only tell our parents about this matter. The others won't not know about it. Similarly, I won't let our parents tell anyone else." After hearing Lin Ray's words, the two of them hurriedly stretched out their left hands and swore to the heavens and earth. "Hee, all right, don't be so serious. It's fine as long as you know." Seeing their appearance, Lin Ray was afraid that his appearance just now would scare them, so he quickly revealed a smile and said to them, "Ugh." Immediately, seeing Lin Ray's expression, the two of them were speechless for a moment. "All right, let's go. It's time for me to pay the Ouyang family a visit." After saying that, Lin Ray directly released his spiritual energy and enveloped the two of them. Then, he flew in the direction of Yanjing. His speed was so fast that he disappeared into the Sahara Desert in an instant. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Suddenly, not long after Lin Ray left, the sound of something breaking through the air was heard. In the blink of an eye, a group of people appeared at the place where Lin Ray was transcending his tribulation. Among this group of people, there were people from all countries, including Huaxia, Country R, and so on. People from many countries were standing at the place where Lin Ray was transcending his tribulation, staring blankly at the huge pit in front of them. At this moment, other than fear in their hearts, there were no words that could express it. Hiss. A cold breath came from everyone's mouth. Their expressions were very funny, and everyone's expression was very ugly. What's going on? Who is this person? Why is he transcending his tribulation here? And judging from the surrounding aftermath, this lightning tribulation is very powerful. It's so powerful that every lightning tribulation can destroy one of us. Yeah. Who is this person? Who is this person? Who has such great power to cause such a lightning tribulation to appear during a tribulation? The group of people, after seeing the giant crater in which Linley had undergone his tribulation and the surrounding shockwaves, began to discuss it amongst themselves. Everyone had their own ulterior motives, and they used words to test each other. At this time, the people from Huaxia were at the side, discussing with a serious expression, "I hope that the person transcending his tribulation is not from another country, but someone from Huaxia. Otherwise, it's worrying." At this time, they looked at each other with fear in their eyes. After confirming with their eyes, they did not stay any longer and flew directly to the capital of Huaxia. After the people from Huaxia left, slowly, the people from other countries also left. Not long after, this bustling place became very quiet at this moment. Apart from the huge pit created by Lin Rei's tribulation, the desert returned to its usual tranquility. Chapter 254. After the tribulation, Lin Rei, who rushed back to Beijing without stopping, didn't know that after his group left, such a thing that was completely out of his imagination would happen. But even if he knew, Lin Rei wouldn't have any expression, because these people had nothing to do with him. Lin Rei, on the other hand, brought Su Bo and Murong Yu. Under the constant rush, they still stepped on the soil of Beijing. Hee, alright, we've already returned to Beijing. You guys should go back too. I'm sure your families must be anxious to let me take you away for so long. When there's time, I'll personally come and apologize. At this moment, the simultaneous breakthrough in both his physical body and cultivation base gave Linley a sense of exhilaration. Looking at the looks on his brothers' faces, Linley couldn't help but tease them. A warm smile spread across his face. If someone who had a deep grudge with Lin Rei, or someone who had already died, saw Lin Rei's smile, they would definitely think that their eyes had an illusion. Because, in their knowledge, other than a disdainful smile, they had never seen Lin Rei reveal such a sincere and relaxed smile. Don't be so polite. In any case, we're still good brothers. Even if your cultivation is strong now, this fact can't be changed. So, don't say such things in the future. At this moment, when Murong Yu and Su Bo heard Lin Rei's words, for a moment, their faces were filled with helpless expressions. They looked at Lin Rei and spoke unhurriedly. Similarly, when they spoke, the sincerity on their faces, as if they were treating him as a brother, entered their eyes. Seeing this scene, Lin Rei smiled. That's right, second brother, don't be so polite. We're brothers for a moment, and we'll be brothers for life. This matter can't be changed. As for these words, don't say them in the future. Besides, if my parents knew that I had a brother like you, they would definitely be happy for me. Hearing Su Bo and Murong Yu's words, Lin Rei didn't say anything else. At this moment, he was very anxious in his heart. He had already been out for so long, and he hadn't told Jean Ling. Therefore, Lin Rei was in a hurry to go back and explain to Jean Ling. Alright, since that's the case, I won't say any more. However, when you go back, you must take a look at your family and see if my mother is there. If she isn't, give me a call. If she isn't, let me go to another family. Before he left, Lin Rei didn't forget to tell them about his mother. Got it. When we go later, we'll go take a look at the family situation and see if the family has captured Auntie. If they do, second brother, don't worry, I won't let them off. After the two of them swore to Lin Rei, they turned around and left. As for Lin Rei, he looked at their backs until they disappeared. Only then did he fly towards his own villa in the Heavenly Bay Garden. Along the way, Lin Rei had been using a small invisibility spell to support himself. Therefore, even if Lin Rei appeared in the crowd, no one would be able to see Lin Rei. At this moment, in one of the villas in Yanjing Tianwan Garden, a woman was anxiously pacing back and forth at the door. She looked like she had a lot on her mind. Her eyebrows were knitted together, and her face was pale. Anyone who saw her could not help but have the urge to go forward and comfort her. Mother, don't worry. Father is so strong. Only he can bully others. Others are like ants in his eyes. Moreover, you've been here for so long. Although you don't need to eat now, it's better to eat less. Suddenly, a young boy with a tender voice and a jade-like face walked out of the villa. When he saw his mother waiting for his father who had been gone for a long time, he couldn't help but feel pain in his heart. His eyes couldn't help but moisten. Sigh. It's okay. I'm just worried. Before you were born, your father went hunting in the mountains, and I was responsible for waiting for your father at home. Every time your father went out, he was fine, but every time he came back, his body would always be a little sore. After so many years, it can't be changed anymore. The woman who was waiting in the courtyard was Lin Rei's wife, Jean Ling, and the child who spoke was Lin Rei's son, Jean En. After Lin Rei left and didn't come back that night, Jean Ling unconsciously came to the door and waited for Lin Rei's return. This had become Jean Ling's habit. It had been deeply engraved in Jean Ling's bone marrow, and it had become one with her body. But father hasn't come back yet. Maybe father is busy and forgot. Are you going to stand here until he comes back? At this moment, Jean En was obviously anxious when he saw Jean Ling's appearance. When he spoke, he no longer used a calm tone. Instead, he directly shouted. His smiling face was red, and he looked very cute. At this moment, before they spoke, Lin Rei had already arrived at the periphery of the villa. However, when Lin Rei saw his own aura and how tired he was from waiting for him, his heart ached. Just as he was about to come forward to show his concern, he heard his son's words. For a moment, Lin Rei's arrogant head lowered at this moment, and his eyes were wet. With a face full of guilt, he looked at Jean Ling, who was not far away, with a haggard face and waiting for his return. The words that Lin Li wanted to say were choked up at this moment, and he could not say it even if he wanted to. Sigh. It seems that I still haven't taken good care of you. You were originally an innocent and brilliant little girl. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't be like this. Lin Rei looked at them and felt deeply guilty, but there was nothing he could do. According to the current situation, he was now on the rise in his career. It was inevitable that he would not be able to take good care of himself. After removing the invisibility spell on his body, Lin Rei's true body appeared in front of everyone. Step by step, he slowly walked towards the door. In the past, he didn't need to walk. In an instant, Lin Rei would be able to reach it. But now, Lin Rei seemed to have a path to heaven, and the more he walked, the longer he seemed to be walking. Gotcha. After an unknown amount of time, Lin Rei finally arrived at the door. He reached out and pushed the heavy door. Walking with legs that seemed to be filled with lead, he walked towards the place where his wife and son were. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Lin Li walked faster and faster. After he was in the villa, Lin Li rushed in front of Jean Ling and hugged her in his arms. Jean Ling's heart is beating faster and faster. I'm sorry. I've made you suffer with me all these years. At this moment, the tears in Lin Rei's eyes couldn't stop flowing down. He looked at Jean Ling in his arms with guilt in his eyes and said, "As the saying goes, a man doesn't cry easily. It's just that he hasn't been hurt." At this moment, Lin Rei had become a tearful man. His tears couldn't stop flowing at all. The guilt in his heart was getting deeper and deeper. He didn't know what to do now, but he knew that in the coming days, he had to protect her well and not let her suffer the slightest bit of harm. Hubby, you. The sudden situation scared Jean Ling and her son who were talking. At the same time, they were also shocked by Lin Rei. They didn't know why Lin Ray would say such a thing. Moreover, Lin Ray was crying. This was the first time they had seen Lin Ray cry. The atmosphere was brought up by Linley, and the air was filled with a heavy and sorrowful aura. This caused Jean Ling and Jean N to unknowingly cry with Linley as well. And the 100 secret department disciples who had been hiding in the surroundings all cried when they saw their leader. This was the most unbelievable thing for them. They had seen Lin Ray when he was injured, Lin Ray when he was angry, and even Lin Ray when he was slaughtering. However, this was the first time they had seen him cry. They just watched Lin Ray's family cry here. It lasted for a few minutes. After more than 10 minutes, they finally stopped. Okay, let's go in and talk. Lin Ray, who had stopped crying, carried Jean Ling in his arms and then walked into the room with Jean N. Looking at this scene from behind, it looked very harmonious, and a very warm feeling arose spontaneously. In the hall of the villa, after Lin Ray placed Jean Ling on the sofa, he sat down beside her. However, his hand never left Jean Ling's body. His left hand was holding Jean Ling's waist, unwilling to let go. Ling, this time, I went out suddenly. I didn't have time to tell you, and I didn't tell you when I would come back. There will be a lot of things like this in the future. So, don't stand at the door and wait foolishly in the future, understand? Lin Ray, who had just sat down, did not stop at all. He directly explained to Jean Ling beside him. He looked very excited, as if he was afraid that she would misunderstand if he did not explain. I know that you feel sorry for me, but have you ever thought about what else I can do for you at home other than this? Besides, I'm already used to it. In the past 6 or 7 years, I've already gotten used to waiting for you. This sentence pierced Lin Ray's heart. This sentence was like a needle, piercing Lin Ray's heart. His heart was in pain, very much in pain. Sigh. Don't worry. In the future, I'll try my best to come back earlier. I won't let you wait too long. At this moment, Lin Ray did not dare to guarantee that something like this would happen in the future, but Lin Ray could guarantee that he would be able to return earlier in the future. I got it. Hearing Lin Ray's guarantee, Jean Ling's face revealed a happy smile. She gently tilted her head to the side and happily leaned on Lin Ray's shoulder. Alright, you can do it too. Looking at his son who had been standing beside him, Lin Ray quickly gestured for him to sit down. Then, he told them about what happened during this period of time. Originally, I just wanted to go to Su Bo and Murong Yu to explain it clearly. But I didn't expect that after trying my best, in the end, this talk lasted for half an hour. In this half an hour, Lin Ray told them everything that had happened. Of course, Lin Ray did not say anything about the tribulation. He probably had to use simple words to dodge it. However, Lin Ray knew that even if he did not say anything, Jean Ling, as a cultivator, should have already realized the danger. At this moment, Jean N, who was sitting on the sofa opposite him, looked at him with admiration in his eyes. He was filled with admiration in his heart. You don't have to admire me because my current level of cultivation is only at the threshold of cultivation. Son, you must remember, don't use my current level of cultivation as your benchmark. You still have a long way to go. You must remember, you are my son, and your future achievements will be limitless. Moreover, you are the young lord of a sect. Therefore, in the future, you must work hard and work hard. Others work twice as hard, but you must work 10 times as hard as others. Because only then can you bear the responsibility that you have to bear in the future. After speaking, Jean N, who was sitting on the sofa, couldn't help but smile as Linley spoke. His eyes were filled with determination as he looked at Linley, as if to say, I'm ready. As for his wife, Jean Ling, who was next to him, she became even more serious. She knew that at this moment, her husband had already placed all his hopes on his son. He hoped that he could become a dragon. She was very happy about this and felt happy at the same time. Alright, let's end this matter here. When your grandmother's matters are over, we'll leave this place. I'll take you to a place of killing. I'll leave you there. Whether you're dead or alive, I don't care, and I won't interfere. In the end, whether you can take on the identity of the young master of the sect or not depends on you. Yes, I understand. After standing and listening to his father's words, Jinen's heart became excited. What he had just said had deeply moved him. Moreover, he also knew that only when he was strong would he be truly strong. Moreover, under the influence of his father, he had long been prepared to take on the responsibility. All right, look at you, father and son. What time is it? Aren't you hungry? And you're saying these words as soon as you come back. At this moment, Jean Ling, who had been sitting next to him, teased Lin Ray with a smile on her face. With that, Jean Ling stood up and went into the kitchen. She began to cook with a clatter. As time went on, Lin Li continued to explain to Jean N some of the things that were worth learning. The smell of the rice aroma stirred up the worms in their stomachs. Come and eat quickly. Otherwise, it won't taste good when it gets cold. Turning his head, he stared at the dazzling array of dishes on the table. Lin Li couldn't help but take a big stride forward and rush to the table. With a thought, a jug of flowery carving wine appeared on the table. After that, Jean N and Jean Ling also sat on the dining table and lowered their heads to eat after 3 times. It didn't take long for the jar of wine to be wiped out by Lin Ray. Just when Lin Ray wanted to continue, Jean Ling, who was eating silently, had a cold expression and said to Lin Ray with dissatisfaction. All right. Isn't drinking a jar of wine enough? Let me tell you. If you dare to drink again today, don't sleep in my room. Jean Ling's words had an immediate effect. Lin Ray, who was about to make a move, immediately quieted down after hearing his wife's words. Chapter 255. The family of 3 chatted and laughed during the meal. The meal was quickly finished. As soon as Lin Ray finished eating, he put down his chopsticks and walked back to his room with his tired body. Jean Ling and Jean N, who were sitting at the dining table, looked at Lin Ray's tired back. Their hearts skipped a beat, and their breathing became rapid. Jean Ling knew that her husband was tired, so she didn't stop Lin Ray. Instead, she let him go. Jean N, on the other hand, went back to his room after the meal under Jean N's urging. After cleaning up the bowls and chopsticks, she went back to her room. She saw her husband lying on the bed, snoring and looking exhausted. Sigh. Hubby, if that damned Kun fish hadn't appeared back then, maybe you wouldn't have ended up like this. Maybe our family of 3 would still be in the deepest part of the sea of innocence, or maybe we'd still be living a carefree life. At that moment, Jean Ling's face was full of regret and heartache. She sat beside Lin Ray and reached out a hand to touch Lin Ray's face. Her eyes were full of heartache and nostalgia. But I know that this kind of life might not be possible for the current you. I know that you want to cultivate to the peak of Tao, or even surpass Tao. So, hubby, don't worry about it and do what you want to do. I won't hold you back. I will make myself stronger. That way, I will be able to stay by your side and help you. As she said that, the corners of Jean Ling's mouth curled up slightly, revealing a sweet smile. Her body slowly leaned towards Lin Ray and lay on Lin Ray's body. She closed her eyes and fell asleep. Some families were happy, while others were sad. The news of Lin Ray's return was received by the other families the moment Su Bo and Murongyu returned to the Dao family. They all gathered at the Su family's residence. Right now, Yan Jing was in chaos. Ordinary people were still living their lives as ordinary people. Cultivators, on the other hand, were not in the mood to sleep or cultivate because they were about to face the prelude of death. Lights flickered on the bustling streets. In this extravagant city, it was quiet at this moment. It was so quiet that it made people feel afraid. At this moment, in the deepest part of the Su family's villa, the lights were brightly lit, and chaotic sounds came from the villa. At this moment, Su Bo and Murongyu, who had just returned, were standing in front of the 5 great ancestors and some of the current patriarchs of the families, not daring to raise their heads. Are you saying that your brother, Lin Ray, brought you to the Sahara Desert to undergo tribulation? And it's a double tribulation? At this moment, Long Feng, who was sitting on the sofa, couldn't hold back when he heard that Su Bo and Murong Yu had brought back the news of Lin Ray. He jumped up in excitement, his eyes filled with disbelief as he asked Murong Yu. Long Feng's appearance was very comical. At this moment it was impossible to tell that he was a cultivator over 1,000 years old. Instead, he looked like a young man in his 20s or 30s. As for Su Chu and the others, they were even more shocked than Long Feng. This was because they really didn't want to believe that a person could undergo 2 lightning tribulations. This was because, in their knowledge, this had never happened before. However, the facts proved that it was hard for them not to believe. They really didn't want to believe that this was true. However, since it came from the mouth of their own descendants, Long Feng and the other old ancestors had no choice but to believe the accuracy of this matter. Yes, old ancestors, you don't have to doubt it, because when we saw this situation, the 2 of us also found it hard to believe. However, this is the truth. After second brother finished the first lightning tribulation, we all thought that it was over. However, the moment the first lightning tribulation ended, a blood-like thundercloud suddenly appeared. Moreover, at that time, the hundreds of Mahayana realm experts around us were suppressed by the pressure of the second lightning tribulation. The 2 of us were directly suppressed to the ground. At this moment, when Mu Rongming spoke, the scene at that time couldn't help but appear in his mind. For a moment, his body trembled uncontrollably. His voice trembled as he spoke, as if he was afraid of recalling this memory. Yes, C is right. If you were there at that time, you would definitely believe what we said. TSK, I didn't expect my brother to be so awesome. Moreover, second brother is even the leader of a sect. If in the future. Suddenly, when Su Bo was so pleased with himself that he spat out his mouth, Murong Yu, who was at the side, hurriedly tugged at Su Bo. For a moment, Su Bo, who seemed to have realized something, stopped abruptly halfway through his words. When Su Bo came back to his senses, the cold sweat on his forehead inadvertently overflowed from his head. His eyes were filled with fear as he looked around. He didn't want those old fellows to see him and hoped that they would realize something that they shouldn't know. However, at this moment, Su Bo might really be overthinking. When those old guys knew that Lin Ray was so strong, they were already scared out of their wits. Therefore, those old guys didn't see his words and actions at all. Phew, fortunately, they didn't know and didn't see. Otherwise, if they knew and left this place to cultivate on another planet, second brother would definitely do as he said. For a moment, Su Bo couldn't help but pat his forehead in fear. His relaxed nerves tensed up at this moment. Sigh. It's over. My Long family is finished this time. At this moment, when everyone was sighing at Lin Ray's strength, Long Feng, who was next to him, said to the other old guys with a bitter smile. His eyes were filled with fear. In an instant, Long Feng's actions attracted the attention of those old guys. What's going on? Everyone was puzzled. They didn't understand what Long Feng meant by this sentence. Together, what did he mean by "I'm finished"? My Long family is finished. Sigh. You guys don't know. After brother Yu left, I returned home and began to investigate Ouyang Jing's news. In the end, what gave me a headache was that Ouyang Jing was really in my Long family, and... At this point, Long Feng's words seemed to be choked. His expression was extremely ugly, and he didn't continue speaking. What? Instantly, everyone present was stunned when they heard such a huge piece of news. No matter how they thought about it, they would never have thought that the person Linley was looking for was actually in the Long family. The relationship between the two seemed to be completely unrelated. At this moment, their hearts were filled with doubts. Everyone's gaze shifted to Long Feng, waiting for him to continue the topic. Sigh. When I found Ouyang Jing, I found that his body was covered in wounds. What surprised me the most was that Ouyang Jing was actually the lover of the Long family's current family head. I heard that the two of them even had 3 children. Boom. At this moment, even more heavy news came, causing their minds to go blank. Tell me, what should we do now? At this moment, Long Feng was filled with fear as he asked Su Chu and the other old guys. Suddenly, there was a rare silence in the villa. After everyone heard Long Feng's words, they all fell silent. After a long, long time, Su Chu, who had been silent for a long time, said, "Brother Long, we really can't help with this matter. You know that even before Lin Rei underwent his tribulation, the 5 of us were already no match for him. Now that he has broken through, what more?" "That's right. Brother Long, if we were to intervene, not only would we not be able to help you, but we would also have to destroy the family that has been passed down for thousands of years." At this moment, the other 4 old ancestors looked at Long Feng with troubled expressions. Actually, this was understandable. After all, no one would want to use their family as a bargaining chip. Even if they knew that they were going to die, they would still rush forward. Unless that person was sick, that person would be a fool. Sigh. It looks like the Long family's luck is at its end. When Long Feng had asked for their help, there was still a glimmer of hope in his eyes. Now, his face was ashen, and there was only despair in his eyes. "This, Brother Long. Don't blame us. It's not that we don't want to help you. You know that if we were alone, we would definitely help you. However, we have a family behind us that depends on us. So, we're sorry." The apology sounded like a joke to Long Feng's ears. However, he could not bring himself to hate them for not helping him. "All right, I understand. Since that's the case, I'll take my leave first. I'll go back and make preparations so that the younger generation can leave as soon as possible." After making his decision, Long Feng bade farewell to Su Chu and the rest. He turned around and walked out of the door. He instantly released his cultivation and soared into the sky, flying towards the Long family. When Su Chu and the rest saw Long Feng leave, they went to the door and looked up at Long Feng's back. They only regained their senses after he had disappeared. Sigh. Everyone, no matter what, we've all been good friends for thousands of years. It wouldn't be right if we didn't help. Let's gather at the Long family tomorrow and help as much as we can. Su Chu looked at the place where Long Feng had disappeared and did not regain his senses for a long time. This was because he felt terrible. After all, Long Feng had just saved his life. Therefore, after making his decision, he turned around and spoke to the people behind him. Since that's the case, let's do it. We should go back and make preparations. We'll gather at the Long family tomorrow. Even if we can't organize it, we can at least save a few lives." Slowly, everyone made their decision and left the Su family's villa one after another. At that moment, the Su family's villa had finally returned to its usual tranquility. Meanwhile, the entire Yanjing had also fallen silent because of the matter between the major families. Night time always passed very quickly. In the blink of an eye, it turned from night to day. A day of life had begun. The morning air was often the best. Moreover, the air was even better in a villa area like Tianwan Garden, which was surrounded by mountains and rivers. In the park, people started their morning exercises one after another. Meanwhile, in the courtyard of the Lin family villa in Tianwan Garden, Jin En was topless and practicing a set of punching techniques to train his body. He looked very determined. Every punch carried with it a faint and almost inaudible wind. If one's cultivation was not particularly strong and his perception was not particularly good, it would be impossible to notice this phenomenon. Moreover, every punch of Jin En's punching technique carried with it a murderous aura. It felt as if his entire person had merged with the surrounding air. Heh heh, like father, like son. I didn't expect that the young sect master's dragon tiger fist has already reached the realm of becoming one with the fist. If he cultivates further, it's very likely that he'll reach the Qing realm. At that moment, Black Shadow, who had been standing guard around the Lin family, had already returned. He couldn't help but praise Jin En when he saw him practicing his punching technique. Heh, that's right. Don't you know whose son the young sect master is? Just the mention of his name is enough to make Tianxian tremble. He's Lin Rei's son. If Lin Rei was here, he would definitely be grinning from ear to ear after hearing Black Shadow's words. Humph, kid, when did your bootlicking skills become so good? At this moment, the black figure who had been admiring Jin En turned his head with a strange expression after hearing his subordinate's words and teased him. That leader. I forgot that I didn't see anyone patrolling over there. I'll go take a look again. Hearing his leader's words, the bootlicking dark group member said something to the Black Shadow and quickly fled the place. Heh, you kid. Seeing that the person had already disappeared, Black Shadow closed his eyes again and fell into a deep sleep. For a leader like him, there was basically nothing for him to do with over 100 members of the Black Shadow protecting the Lin family villa. Therefore, the only thing he had to do now was sleep, drink, eat, sleep, and cultivate. This cycle of life was endless. Heh. Jin En, who was practicing his dragon tiger fist, kept repeating it. After finishing one round, he would do it again. This continued for 2 hours. At this moment, Jin En was already lying on the ground in exhaustion. His entire body seemed to have collapsed from exerting too much strength. He lay on the ground motionlessly with his eyes closed. Not only was he tired, but he was also asleep. In a room on the second floor of the villa, Lin Rei, who had been sleeping since last night, opened his eyes groggily. He reached out and picked up the phone on the table beside him. After looking at the time, he came back to his senses and prepared to get up. However, at that moment, he suddenly felt as if he was being pressed down by someone. In the end, when he looked up, he saw that Jin Ling was lying on top of him, sleeping soundly. Heh, this silly girl. What should I say to you? Looking at his wife, Lin Rei was full of helplessness and didn't know what to say. Sigh. With a sigh, Lin Rei slowly pulled his body out. Then, with light movements, he used a strength that Jin Ling couldn't feel. He hugged Jin Ling and placed her on the bed. Then, he covered her with a blanket and tiptoed out. Chapter 256. Lin Rei walked out of his room. He had already made up his mind. Today, he would go to the 5 great families to look for his mother. Even if he had to turn the entire Yanjing upside down, he would find her. He didn't want to drag this out any longer. After getting dressed, he went downstairs and prepared to leave after breakfast. However, at that moment, the sound of boxing came from outside. Hee. Hearing this sound, Linley furrowed his brows. He put down the cooking utensils in his hands and walked towards the direction of the sound of the boxing. Just as he walked out of the villa, he saw a small figure under the sun. He was sweating profusely as he practiced the dragon tiger fist. At that moment, the young man's figure was steady and firm. This kid. Lin Rei knew that Jin En had stopped what he said yesterday and was working hard. He didn't want to disappoint him. More importantly, he carried the title of the young sect master of the 9 Heavens Xuanzong sect on his shoulders. This was all his motivation, and at the same time, pressure. Seeing that he was working so hard, Lin Rei didn't call him. Instead, he hurried to the kitchen and started cooking. Ping ping pang pang sounds came from the kitchen. The people outside heard it, but they didn't find it strange. After all, this wasn't the first time Lin Rei cooked. Breakfast should be light dishes, but at this moment, there was only meat on the table. Apart from 2 plates of fried eggs and 2 cups of milk, there was nothing else. Half an hour later, the sound of cooking in the kitchen finally disappeared. At the same time, Lin Rei walked out with a big plate of meat with a smile on his face. Hee, this should be enough to replenish his energy down there. At the same time, it should help him increase his strength. TSK, but it doesn't feel like a monster's meat. If it was a monster, then it would be a treasure. At this moment, Lin Rei looked at the meat on the table and couldn't help but sigh regretfully. However, if others heard this, they would definitely think that he was crazy. Of course, this was only for ordinary people. When the meal was ready, Lin Rei took a towel and strolled to the place where Jin-en was practicing. Right now, Jin-en was already standing, completely exhausted. His fists were waving weakly in the air, and his face was filled with exhaustion. Seeing this, Linley's heart ached as he walked over and said, "Don't worry. Son, here, wipe it, then stop practicing. This thing has to be done in moderation. You can't eat everything in one go and become a fatty. Take it slow, one step at a time. This way, the Tao mechanism and foundation will be stable." Jin-en, who was too engrossed in his practice, didn't notice that his father had been watching for a long time. It was only when Lin Rei spoke that he noticed. "Oh." Looking at the towel that was handed to him, Jin-en did not refuse. He took it and began to wipe the sweat off his body. "Let's go. Time to eat." After speaking to Jin-en, Lin Rei went ahead and sat down at the dining table in the villa. Jin-en followed Lin Rei to the dining table. However, the next scene stunned Jin-en. Because at this moment, the dining table was filled with meat. There was beef, pork, and a dazzling array of meat. When Jin-en saw this, his throat involuntarily squirmed. Most importantly, this meat was all the same as the large pieces of meat he had eaten in the mysterious sky continent. All of them were palm-sized pieces of meat placed on the table. "Hee, kid, how can you be like this just because you see meat? Hurry up and wash up, then come down and eat." After speaking, Lin Rei lowered his head and started to eat. Jin-en, on the other hand, quickly went into the bathroom. After a while, Jin-en walked out with wet hair and an impatient look on his face. Lin Rei, who was sitting at the dining table, smiled but did not say anything. Jin-en did not care about anything. After all, it was his father. Without any reservations, he grabbed a piece of meat and started to tear it into his mouth. Piece by piece, the meat on the table slowly disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. What was even more strange was that with every piece he ate, the pain caused by breaking through his limits twice was disappearing bit by bit. Seeing how miraculous the meat on the table was, Jin-en let go of his hand and swept it up like a whirlwind. Actually, it wasn't the meat that was miraculous. Rather, when Linley was cooking, he had taken a few of Tianji's pills, crushed them, and scattered them on the meat. The meal was quickly finished. Linley had finished eating very early, and then he just stared at his son, who was eating happily, with a blissful smile on his face. "After we finish eating, I am going to look for your grandmother. If you want to come, then follow me. If you don't want to, then stay at home and accompany your mother." Grandmother? Lin Rei's words piqued Jin-en's curiosity. The term grandmother was very unfamiliar, yet also very familiar. Therefore, when he heard Lin Rei's words, Jin-en stopped what he was doing. "Yes, my mother." "So, what is your decision?" Lin Rei did not make a decision. Instead, he left the decision to Jin-en. I will go. Wait for me. I will change my clothes and follow you." After saying that, Jin-en put down the meat in his hand and hurriedly ran upstairs. Not long after, an aristocratic young master in a suit walked down the stairs, looking very handsome. "Hee, kid." Looking at such a handsome son, Linley felt very proud. After all, his son was handsome, so he felt very proud too. It was something that made him feel very proud. "Alright, let's go." He took the initiative to grab Jin-en's hand and led him out of the door. This time, he had mobilized all his men. When they reached the door, he lifted his head and said to the air, "Black Shadow, select 50 people and secretly torture me. When the time comes, if anyone dares to resist, there is no need to listen to my orders. Just kill them directly." With this sudden order, 100 members of the dark operation appeared and knelt on the ground, kowtowing to Lin Ray. "Yes, Sect Master. I will do it right away. All of you can get up. The remaining 50 disciples will guard this place well. Do as I said before. Whoever enters will die." At this moment, Lin Ray was filled with murderous intent as he ordered the members of the dark operation. After he finished speaking, Linley didn't look at them again. He drove away from Sky Bay Garden without looking back. At this moment, Black Shadow followed Lin Ray's orders and selected 50 people from the 100 members of the dark operation. Then, he secretly chased after Lin Ray's car. The remaining 50 members of the dark operation hid themselves and walked around the house to protect the safety of the villa. At this moment, Lin Ray, who was driving, was very excited because he was about to see his mother. The car was heading in the direction of the Ouyang family, but at this moment, the phone rang. Ring ring ring. Ring ring ring, the sound entered Lin Ray's ears. After stopping the car, he picked up the phone and saw the name Murong Yu on the screen. After connecting, he asked the person on the other end. "What's wrong, see?" "That, second brother, I know where Auntie is. You don't have to go to the Ouyang family anymore." See Murong Yu's words directly made Lin Ray's heart jump. Without any hesitation, when he heard the news about his mother, he opened his mouth and asked, not allowing Murong Yu on the other end of the phone to finish speaking. "Speak, who captured my mother? Tell me." "Long family, Auntie is now in the Long family." "But, second brother, don't be agitated. Perhaps." Ring ring ring. The sound of the phone being hung up could be heard. Murong Yu, who was in the Murong family, instantly changed his expression. "Not good, it seems like something bad is going to happen." "No, I have to go and take a look. I don't want anything to happen." Looking at the phone that had already been hung up, Murong Yu's heart became restless. It was as if something bad was about to happen. In the end, he couldn't bear it any longer and walked out of the house. He drove in the direction of the Long family and quickly left. At the same time, Su Bo and Wang Hong both received a call from Murong Yu. After learning about Lin Ray's movements, everyone's first expression was the same as Murong Yu's. First, their faces turned ugly. Then, they all drove in the direction of the Long family. At that moment, the person who was feeling the most vexed was none other than Linley. When Hua Xing heard that his mother was not in the Ouyang clan, but in the Long clan, Linley's killing intent had been aroused. If she was in the Ouyang family, after all, his mother was a child of the Ouyang family. He wouldn't have said anything. He would have just given her a warning. But the Long family, as one of the 5 big families, his mother didn't seem to have any relationship with them. Even if his mother was a person sent by the queen, she wouldn't have captured the Long family for such a long time and not let them go. At this moment, Lin Ray had already blacklisted the Long family in his heart. This matter couldn't be changed by anyone. Lin Ray seemed to have forgotten that his son was also in the car. Just now, because of a moment of excitement, he couldn't control his murderous aura. It directly leaked out, causing Jean N, who was in the back seat, to faint. Hee, this little guy. Looking at the fainted Jean N in the back seat, Lin Ray quickly used his spiritual power and woke up the fainted Lin Ray. With a guilty expression, he looked at Jean N and said embarrassedly, "That, I couldn't control it for a moment. Are you okay?" Jean N, who came back to his senses, didn't have any hatred for Lin Ray because of this matter. He said with a smile, I'm fine. I'm just a little dizzy." It was normal for him to feel dizzy. After all, Linley's cultivation base was so powerful that he could kill earthly immortals. "Okay, then you sleep for a while." When we get there, I'll contact you again. In a while, I'll give you a chance to fight. Let me see how strong you are now." After speaking, Linley didn't say anything else. Instead, he used all of his strength to wrap around Jean-En, allowing him to rest peacefully without making any noise or shaking. Lin Rei, on the other hand, drove the car to the Long family with mixed feelings. At this moment, in a villa in Beijing, the ancestors of the 5 big families and the current family heads were all there. Among them was a woman. However, this woman looked at everyone timidly and nestled in the arms of a man. "Long Feng, just now, I heard from the younger generation of the Su family that a senior is coming in the direction of the Long family." His words caused everyone to be on their guard. Their relaxed bodies tensed up in an instant. Sigh. What's coming will eventually come. Who asked the younger generation of the Long family to kidnap the person that the senior wanted? At this moment, Long Feng was no longer as strong as before. Other than being dispirited, his face was ashen. Moreover, Long Feng seemed to have aged a lot. When the middle-aged man behind Long Feng heard this, his face sank in shame. He didn't dare to say a word. Moreover, he couldn't speak at this moment. Time passed by slowly. For them, every minute that passed was like a day. Finally, what was supposed to come had come. The consciousness of the 5 ancestors had been paying attention to the entrance of the Long family's villa. They wanted to see when Lin Rei would arrive. At this moment, Lin Rei's car finally entered the range of their consciousness. Kacha, bang. The car door was pushed open. Lin Rei got out of the car expressionlessly. Then, the sound of another door opening was heard. When Jean-En arrived, he was woken up by Lin Rei. "Go, Enner. Go. If anyone dares to stand in front of you, don't hesitate. Remember, the entire 9 Heavens Xuanzong sect is behind you. Your father is here to support you." After making this promise, Jean-En no longer had any reservations. He quickly walked forward and looked at the tightly shut door of the Long family. Without any hesitation, Jean-En kicked the door open. Bam! After a loud bang, the door of the Long family's villa was kicked to one side by Jean-En. Furthermore, Jean-En's small footprint was left on the door. This scene was deeply imprinted in the minds of the 5 great families' patriarchs. At the same time, they were also shocked. How could a child of this age be so strong? If they had known earlier, the Long family's main gate was made of refined iron. Ordinary people couldn't possibly reach this level. Hee, good. As expected of my son, Lin Rei. Actually, Lin Rei also knew about the Long family's entrance. However, there was still some uncertainty about whether his son could do it. However, it seemed like he had been worried. "Let's go." He followed behind his son and walked step by step into the depths of the Long family's villa. Along the way, there were all sorts of people blocking the way of Lin Rei and Jean-En. However, Jean-En was indeed Lin Rei's son. He went through all sorts of obstacles along the way. Whenever he saw someone blocking his way, Jean-En would kick them down without hesitation. When they encountered cultivators who were too strong for Jean-En to handle, the dark department hidden in the shadows would appear and kill them without mercy. Chapter 257. Jean-En's murderous aura had been honed by killing the people who had blocked his way. At the moment, Jean-En had completely become a cultivator and the young sect master of the 9 Sky Xuanzong sect. Lin Rei, who had been following behind Jean-En, couldn't help but smile when he saw this scene. He was delighted, as this was exactly what he had wanted. Therefore, Lin Rei felt proud of Jean-En for doing such a thing, not because he had killed people. Eventually, a third of the Long clan's low-level cultivators were all taken down by Jean-En. There were even some people who looked down on Jean-En and killed those who were wearing protective gear after being provoked by their words. At this moment, in the deepest part of the Long family's villa, everyone was scared. Through their divine senses, they saw the scene of Jean-En killing people. Their bodies trembled involuntarily, their faces were pale, and cold sweat was dripping down their foreheads. Their divine sense was focused on Linley and Jean N, as well as the other members of the Dark Department. Step by step, they walked towards them. The Long family villa had been divided into two factions. One was Lin Ray's faction, while the other was the Long family's faction. However, it was obvious that the faction behind the Long family had lost all confidence after Lin Ray's arrival. Lin Ray and Jean N led 50 people into the depths of the Long family villa. When they looked around, they saw their mother leaning on a man. Lin Ray was furious. No matter what the reason was, if that man had dared to do this, then he had to be prepared to bear the brunt of Lin Ray's anger. Lin Ray moved in an instant. His spirit energy erupted and his body started to fade. By the time it reappeared, Lin Ray had already arrived at Ouyang Jing's side. "How dare an ant like you touch my mother? You must have a death wish." Linley didn't use his full strength. His palm landed directly on the man's chest, and in the next instant, the man was sent flying. As for Linley, he carried his mother and returned to Jean N's side. Everything had happened so quickly that no one could react in time. The patriarchs felt a burst of spirit energy, but they didn't see Lin Ray's figure. Meanwhile, the middle-aged man who had been slapped by Lin Ray also flew a few meters before crashing to the ground. With a "pu" sound, a mouthful of blood was spat out from the middle-aged man's mouth. Some unknown pieces of flesh were mixed within the blood. The scene was extremely shocking. When the people of the Long family regained their senses, they hurriedly retreated to the middle-aged man's side and asked, "Zhong, Long family head, are you all right?" Cough cough. I'm fine. Don't worry." Long Zhong raised his head and endured the pain in his chest as he replied to the people who were concerned about him. On the other side, Lin Ray looked at his mother with tears in his eyes. Although he had a lot to say, Lin Ray couldn't say anything at this moment. Lin Ray knelt down in front of Ouyang Jing in front of everyone. His voice was trembling, but it was filled with endless longing. "Mother, it's my fault. If I hadn't gone missing, you wouldn't have come to Beijing. If you hadn't come to Beijing, you wouldn't have been captured by those bastards from the Long family." At this moment, Linley felt as though something was stuck in his throat. It was difficult for him to breathe. His voice was choked with sobs as tears flowed from his eyes. They gently slid down his cheeks and flowed down. "Boo-hoo," Ouyang Jing confirmed that the person in front of him was his son who had been missing for a long time. All the grievances from before were released at this moment. Tears also flowed down his cheeks. Son. Son. Where have you been all these years? Where have you been? Do you know how much I've missed you? I've been thinking about you every day. Are you full? Are you warm? Do you have a place to stay?" At this time, the two of them were already hugging each other. The two of them were sobbing to each other. This scene directly stirred up the atmosphere in the venue. All the ladies in the venue, under the influence of the two of them, also started to cry. As for the 5 patriarchs, as well as some of the younger members of the 5 great clans, when they saw this scene, they were all stunned. They only knew that Linley was looking for Ouyang Jing, but they didn't know the relationship between them. But now, they all understood. The one who was in trouble was the Long family. At this moment, everyone from the Long family looked at this scene with their eyes wide open. It was a sad scene. At the same time, they also knew the seriousness of this matter. On the other hand, Long Zhong, who was lying on the ground, didn't feel sad when he heard that it was his son who had injured him. Instead, he smiled. Slowly, with the help of everyone, Long Zhong stood up and walked step by step toward Lin Ray and his mother. His face was smiling, but his eyes were filled with tears. At the same time, his body was trembling violently. I'm sorry, Mother. It's my fault. I left in a hurry because of some things back then, so I didn't tell you. Don't worry. I won't do it again in the future. We'll be together as a family in the future. Also, I've just arrived in Beijing. When I arrived in Beijing, I found my brother and sister and brought them to my place. They're currently in university. At this moment, Lin Rei's emotions could no longer be expressed with words. A smile that no one had ever seen before appeared on his face. It was a smile full of happiness. Yes. Yes, that's great. We'll never be apart as a family again. The two of them finally stopped crying. However, neither of them was willing to look away from each other. It was as if they looked away, all of this would be an illusion that didn't exist. Jing. A low and excited voice sounded, interrupting the two people's thoughts. Humph. You. At this moment, Linley was completely enraged. After all, he had finally found his mother, whom he missed dearly. Just as he was about to reunite with her, someone who didn't care about his own life had come forward and interrupted him. This was something that no one wanted to experience. No, Ray, no. You can't touch him. Can't you? Lin Ray, who was about to make a move, suddenly stopped his action from his mother under the blanket. This made Lin Ray very confused. He looked at his mother with a puzzled gaze, wanting to seek an answer. Ray, I'm your father. Boom. This explosive news short-circuited Lin Ray's brain at this moment. His mind went blank. Apart from the words, I'm your father, there was nothing else. The word father was so unfamiliar in the depths of Linley's memory. It was so unfamiliar that he had already forgotten about it. Therefore, when this middle-aged man in front of him said that he was his father, Linley was immediately stunned. Sigh. Lay, don't be like this. He is indeed your father. However, due to the circumstances back then, he left and returned to the Long family after I gave birth to the three of you. I didn't want them to find you and I didn't want you to return to your previous life. Thus, I changed your surnames to Lin. Haha. Ha ha ha. After Ouyang Jing finished his explanation, Lin Ray laughed out loud. His laughter was full of disdain and helplessness. His face was full of pain as he looked at this so-called father. Father. This word has never existed in the past 20 to 30 years. Now you're telling me that you're my father. Do you think I can accept it? Do you think I can accept it? Moreover, my mother told me with certainty that my father died in an accident again. Therefore, I don't know about you and I don't acknowledge you as my father. At this moment, Lin Ray didn't know what to do. His mother said that his father was dead. Now, an unknown father appeared out of nowhere. How could he accept this? But I'm your father after all. When Long Zhong heard his son say that he was dead, although his heart ached, there was a reason behind it. Yes. Ray, it was only a matter of time before. Forgive your father. He didn't do it on purpose. At this moment, Ouyang Jing and Long Zhong's words lingered in Lin Ray's ears. At this moment, Lin Ray was annoyed and had the urge to shut them up. At this moment, Lin Ray no longer wanted to explain whether he was his father or not. He didn't want to know, and he didn't want to know. Since his father didn't exist in the past few decades, there was no need for him to appear in the future. All members of the Dark Tribe, listen to my orders. Seal this place. No one is allowed to leave or enter. No one is allowed to enter, no matter who they are. If anyone dares to violate this rule, kill them without mercy. As soon as he said this, the 50 members of the Dark Tribe who had been hiding in the dark revealed themselves immediately and kowtowed to Lin Ray. We will obey the sect leader's orders. In an instant, all the members of the Dark Tribe gathered around the area. Their Mahayana realm spiritual energy was instantly unleashed, and an impenetrable cage appeared. In an instant, the moment the cage appeared, everyone panicked. Some of them even wanted to break out of the cage and leave. Just a small cage. Do you think it can trap us? Then you think too highly of yourself. At this moment, an idiot who came out of nowhere rushed into the sky. A dermic artifact appeared in his hand and he slashed at the energy shield. Humph, how dare you violate the sect leader's orders? You're courting death. In an instant, a voice resounded abruptly. In the next moment, that challenger died without being able to react at all. Moreover, he didn't even know how he'd died. At this moment, the shadow of the leader of the dark tribe appeared out of thin air. His peak Mahayana realm cultivation instantly crushed down. I said that no one is allowed to leave. This is the first time. If there is a second time, I don't mind killing everyone here. I don't care if he's the patriarch of the 5 major families in Yanjing or the current patriarch. As long as you dare to do this again, I believe you know that I have the ability to do so. At this moment, Lin Rei walked out impatiently and said to everyone present. At the same time, a strong murderous aura was released. Pft, pft, pft. Everyone who felt Lin Rei's murderous aura, except for the members of the Dark Tribe, Jin En, and Ouyang Jing, spat out a mouthful of blood under Lin Rei's murderous aura. Their faces instantly turned pale, and their auras weakened. Alright, I'm done talking. Alright, I don't want to say too much. People of the Long Clan, tell me why you captured my mother. Also, tell me who did it and who was involved in it. Did my mother get hurt in the Long Clan? Did you torture her? Tell me everything. I don't want to use the soul-searching technique, so hurry up and tell me everything. I promise that as long as you hurt my mother and the people who captured her, I will let the rest of the Long Clan go. Long Feng, who had been waiting for a long time, had an ugly expression on his face. He was full of helplessness. He muttered in his heart, it's finally here. This day has finally come. Sigh. Alright, I'll tell you everything. As long as you keep your promise and let those who have nothing to do with it go. Hearing Long Feng's words, Lin Rei agreed without any hesitation. Don't worry. I, Lin Rei, will definitely do what I promise. Since I said that I will let those who have nothing to do with it go, I will. Don't worry. Okay. After getting Lin Rei's promise, Long Feng told him everything he knew. Immediately, everyone present knew the ins and outs of the matter. However, they didn't see that Lin Rei's expression was getting uglier and uglier. When Long Feng finished, Lin Rei could no longer suppress his anger. Humph, Long Shi, Long Batian, and those who hurt my mother, if you don't want your Long family to be destroyed, get out here. His words, which were imbued with spiritual energy, spread out in an instant. Immediately, a terrifying pressure followed his words and suppressed everyone present. At this moment, Long Zhong, who was standing behind Lin Rei, had an ugly expression on his face. Long Shi and Long Batian were his brother and father. According to seniority, they were both Lin Rei's elders. After feeling the murderous aura from his son, Long Zhong quickly stepped forward to stop him. Rei, I beg you, don't kill them. They are your family. I beg you. Yes, Rei, although they treated me like that before, they are still your father's family. Look, can you? No. At this moment, Lin Rei didn't care whether they were his family or not. Anyone who hurt his mother must be punished. This was Lin Rei's thought at this moment. There's no room for discussion. So what if they're my family? As long as they hurt you, I won't let any of them off. Even if it's this so-called father, a person who didn't bring me up, do you think you have the right to plead for me? Chapter 258. Lin Rei was a man of his word. He did not want to listen to anything else. He would not let go of the people who had returned his mother. Therefore, Lin Rei did not listen to their pleas. Okay, I will go and bring them all out. Please keep your promise. Long Feng had wanted to ask Ouyang Jing to plead for leniency. But now, it seemed that everything was in vain. Long Feng only hoped that Lin Rei would not bring harm to the innocent people of the Long family. After saying that, Long Feng hurriedly brought people into the room inside. Not long after, an old man and a dozen middle-aged men were caught. At that moment, they were all extremely respectful before Long Feng, and it was not appropriate for them to say anything. After all, Long Feng was their ancestor, and they knew that they only had one choice at that moment, and that was to pay a corresponding price for what they had done before, or even pay an even higher price. Say, "Senior, this is Long Badian." The one beside him is Long Shi. Long Feng, who had brought the Long family members to Linli, hurriedly explained the origin of this matter and the main culprit. At this moment, Long Feng still had a little bit of hope in his heart. He hoped that Linli would let them go on account of the fact that blood was thicker than water. After all, they were his family. "Oh. Are you the ones who kidnapped my mother and caused her to suffer so much?" After hearing Long Feng's introduction, Lin Rei raised his head and looked at Long Badian, who was his so-called grandfather. Lin Rei's anger soared. He did not understand why he had made such a decision back then. "Humph, little bastard. I should have killed you back then to prevent future troubles. I didn't expect that you would grow to such a level today. I don't want to say much about it. I just want you to give me a quick death." After hearing Lin Rei's words, Long Badian, the former head of the Long family, knew that the young man in front of him was the son of that bitch back then. He also knew that Lin Rei was here for revenge. Therefore, he did not plead for leniency. Instead, he asked for death directly. Ha. Ha 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 ha. Well, family head Long is indeed the family head Long. You're really bold. You know that you've done something wrong, but you can still speak so confidently. I really admire you. However, don't you think that I'm letting you off too easily if I kill you now for what happened back then? Originally, Lin Rei wanted to give them a quick and painless death, but when he heard Long Badian call him a little bastard, Lin Rei decided that he couldn't let this matter rest. You, what do you want?" Long Badian's heart trembled after seeing Lin Rei's bloodthirsty expression. He knew that something bad was about to happen. He couldn't help but ask Lin Rei. You'll know in a while. However, don't worry. I will definitely let you experience this shock. I will make you pay a painful price for everything you've done to us." As he spoke, the corners of Linli's mouth curled up slightly, revealing a cruel expression. Then, he slowly walked towards Long Shi, one step at a time. You're the one who captured me and asked the Ouyang family for help. You said that you're looking for my mother. Do you know that my mother is my reverse scale? Anyone who touches my reverse scale will only have one result." Looking at this so-called uncle of his, Linli's hatred increased. He wanted to kill them immediately, but he couldn't. Because he didn't want these demons from the Long family to die so easily. He wanted them to experience the pain he wanted them to experience. He wanted them to watch their family members die one by one in front of them. He believed that this mental torture was the best way to punish them. What result? Long Shi was afraid. He was truly afraid. If he hadn't been afraid before, now that he had seen Linli's power, he was terrified. Ever since he was born, he had been a young master who didn't have to worry about food and clothing. He had never seen such a scene before. "All right, I'll let you experience how it feels to have your soul extracted from your body bit by bit." What? Instantly, Lin Rei's words stunned everyone present. At the same time, they thought about Lin Rei's words. To have one's soul extracted was a very vicious thing. This was something that only the demonic path would do. Now, they were going to see their family members' souls being extracted in front of them. This would be a memory that they would never forget for the rest of their lives. Ouyang Jing, who was behind him, was shocked when he heard this. He knew that Linli was going to take revenge for her, but he couldn't understand why his son had become like this. It wasn't just Ouyang Jing. Lin Rei didn't realize that there was a familiar figure standing behind the old ancestor of the Shui family. She was standing there in a daze, watching everything that Lin Rei had done ever since he arrived. Shui Man a friend of his from the class reunion. However, Lin Rei didn't know that Shui Man was also from the Shui family, one of the 5 great families. When Shui Man heard that Lin Rei was going to extract a person's soul, she couldn't help but feel a chill down her spine. She broke out in cold sweat. Her eyes were filled with disbelief when she saw this scene. She couldn't imagine how a kind-hearted person could turn into such a cruel and violent person after 2 years. She couldn't understand. Everyone's gaze was focused on Lin Rei. They didn't believe that Lin Rei would really do such a thing. However, they were too naive. In the next moment, an action that turned everyone's view of the world upside down happened. Lin Rei placed his hand on the top of Long Shi's head and chanted a few incantations. Instantly, a terrifying and unknown black aura started to seep out of Lin Rei's body. Long Shi's face was ashen, and his entire body was trembling as he stared fixedly at Linley, who was extracting his soul. He wanted to speak, but for some reason, he was unable to speak. As he ate, he felt as though his soul was being sucked away, and he had no strength left in him at all. Slowly, 5 minutes passed. Long Shi's 7 orifices started to bleed and Lin Rei's hand started to move. A transparent figure appeared in Lin Rei's hand. It was a figure that looked exactly the same as what Long Shi had imagined. Other than the fact that the body was transparent, everything else was the same. The pain grew stronger and stronger. Long Shi's mouth was wide open as he howled in pain. However, he didn't dare to howl because no one could hear him. Other than his pained expression, they couldn't feel anything else. As powerful cultivators, the 5 patriarchs, Long Batian, and the others could see that Long Shi's soul was being slowly extracted from his body by Linley's hand. Those with lower cultivation bases weren't able to see the soul at all. All they could see was Long Shi bleeding from every orifice, a look of agony on his face. You can't do this. He is your uncle after all. Aren't you afraid of being punished by the heavens? At this moment, Long Batian finally understood what Lin Rei meant when he said that he wouldn't let them die in pain. Long Shi was his son, his most beloved son. He couldn't just watch as his son's soul was being extracted right in front of him. He couldn't just stand by and watch as his son's soul was being extracted. Uncle? No, he's not my uncle. If he was my uncle, would he have imprisoned my mother? If he was my uncle, would he have beaten my mother up? So, he's not my uncle. He's a demon, a beast. Since that's the case, there's no need for him to take over a human's body. So, you should thank me. I'm helping him. Hearing Long Batian's words, Lin Rei glared at Long Batian with a vengeful gaze. The malevolent aura around him surged once more, reaching a peak. Everyone was speechless. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with Lin Rei's words. They wanted to rebut, but they didn't know what to do. Zhong, hurry and help. He's your younger brother. Are you just going to watch your son kill your younger brother? Just as Long Batian was helpless, he suddenly thought of his eldest son, Long Zhong. With a pleading tone, he begged his eldest son. With a loud thud, Long Batian fell to his knees and begged Long Zhong and Yang Jing, I beg you. Please help. After all, he's Zhong's younger brother. He's your brother-in-law. Please ask your son to let go. Yang Jing, who was already beautiful, nodded in agreement when he saw his father-in-law, who had always refused to acknowledge him, kneeling before him and begging for help. Please get up. I promise you. But I don't know if it'll work, so I can't guarantee the outcome. Although he said yes, Yang Jing couldn't guarantee it. He couldn't guarantee that he would be able to persuade his son, who couldn't be born in 3 years. So, he told him the outcome in advance, so that he wouldn't feel guilty if he didn't succeed. Okay, thank you. As long as you can beg him not to kill Longxi, anything is negotiable. Finally, seeing that Ouyang Jing agreed, Long Badian hurriedly stood up. A rare smile appeared on his bitter face. Feeling helpless, Ouyang Jing walked step by step to his son, Lin Rei. He said softly, "Rei, you, just be him. After all, he's your uncle and your father's younger brother. If you kill him like this, isn't it a little?" Before Ouyang Jing could finish, Lin Rei interrupted, "Yes, that's right. Okay, mother, I won't kill him." "Ah, really? You really won't kill him?" Hearing his son's words, Ouyang Jing was surprised. He didn't understand. His son had said that he would kill Longxi. Why did he suddenly change his mind? Chapter 259. Lin Rei wouldn't reject his mother's request. However, Lin Rei wouldn't let people like Longxi and Long Badian off. Therefore, I won't do anything to them. Don't worry, mother. Lin Rei's next words surprised everyone. After making his promise to Ouyang Jing, he turned around and spoke to Jin En, who had been silent all this while, with a murderous look in his eyes. En, your grandmother was bullied. Tell me, what are you going to do?" His words stunned everyone, especially Ouyang Jing. When she saw Jin En standing not too far away, combined with her son's words, she knew that this child was her grandson. "Humph, this bastard dared to bully my grandmother. He can only die. That's the only way those ants won't dare to be impudent." Hiss. A breath of cold air was sucked into everyone's mouths. Their eyes were wide open, and they had an expression of disbelief. This was because it was very difficult for a 5 or 6-year-old child to be so decisive. However, this child in front of them had actually said something that even a teenager wouldn't dare to say. "Ha ha ha, good. You're indeed my son, Lin Rei. Since that's the case, you'll be the one to avenge your grandmother." Seeing his son agree so readily, a smile appeared on his face. Linley, who had been empty-handed, suddenly pulled out the 10,000 arts sword of the changing wood into his hands. "Here. Use this sword to kill this bastard. As a reward, I'll give you a treasure that will be of great help to you." As he spoke, Linley used his spiritual energy to form a hand made of spiritual energy. He grabbed the sword and presented it to Jin En with a smile on his face. This scene wasn't much to the people who had been killed by Linley in the profound sky continent, but to the people here, it was something that they couldn't imagine. "Oh." After Jin En agreed, he grabbed the Yi 10,000 Law's sword and walked towards Longxi step by step. To Longxi, every step he took was like the god of death waving at him. Jin En came in front of Longxi and raised the long sword in his hand without any hesitation. From top to bottom, he directly slashed Longxi's neck. A gaping wound appeared on Longxi's body. Following that, Longxi's vitality disappeared. Finally, he died. This scene happened so quickly. The crowd didn't even have time to react. They didn't think that this kid would dare to kill someone. "Father, he's dead." After killing Longxi, Jin En, who was holding the Yi 10,000 magical sword, turned around and reported to Lin Rei. "Huh, good son. Come over and kneel down to greet your grandmother." When he heard Jin En's words, Lin Rei was very pleased. He didn't want his son to be weak. If he was weak, he would die a horrible death in the cultivation world. This wasn't what he wanted. Therefore, from now on, he would train him strictly. Killing was one of the training. "Oh, I understand." When he heard his father's instructions, Jin En quickly walked forward and knelt on the ground with the Yi 10,000 magical sword stained with Longxi's blood. He kowtowed to Ouyang Qian. Grandson Jin En pays his respects to grandmother. "I hope grandmother will live a long and healthy life. At this moment, Jean. He was no longer as cold-blooded as before. At this moment, he was like a child kowtowing to his grandmother, whom he had never met before. He looked very nervous and adorable. When the surrounding people saw this scene, they all thought that they were hallucinating. Okay. Okay, get up quickly. Grandmother didn't bring any gifts today. I'll make it up to you in the future, okay? When she saw her 5 or 6-year-old grandson kill someone, Ouyang-jing felt a chill down her spine. She didn't know how to get along with the child in front of her. She felt that something was wrong. Okay. Then. Grandmother, you must remember. When Jean heard Ouyang-jing's words, he stood up with a smile on his face and said to his grandmother again, as if he was afraid that she would forget. Okay, I'll remember. On this side of the family, there was a scene of harmony. On the other side, there was a scene of crying and wailing. It was very sad. A minute after Long Shi was killed, the crowd regained their senses. Long Batian and Long Zhong immediately went to Long Shi's corpse and knelt on the ground, crying. She felt extremely sorrowful. Her tears flowed down like water as if they were free of charge. Boo-hoo. Son, why did you leave me like this? Son. Brother, it's all my fault. I didn't save you in time. This scene made everyone present speechless. No one could stop this from happening, nor did they have the ability to stop it. Therefore, the only thing they could do at this moment was to watch and not let more people die because of this matter. Ah. Little bastard, it's all your fault. It's all your fault. You killed my son. Pay for my son's death with your life. At this moment, the grief-stricken Long Batian stood up like a madman because of his son's death. A 3-foot-long cold sword suddenly appeared in his hand. He rushed toward Lin Rui and Ouyang-jing. The moment this happened, the crowd was shocked. They didn't expect Long Batian to do something so extreme and brainless. I knew you would do this. However, I have to thank you. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have a reason to kill you. At this moment, Lin Li's heart was filled with joy. Previously, he had been hesitant about how to kill Long Batian because of his mother. But now, Lin Li had enough reason to kill Long Batian without being criticized by others. Of course, this sentence could only be imagined in his mind. It wouldn't be good if he said it out loud. The moment Long Batian moved, Lin Rui's martial emperor divine spear appeared in his hand. In an instant, Lin Rui's body disappeared. When Lin Rui reappeared, he was already beside Long Batian. For Long Batian, who was only at the lower stage of the form synthesis realm, Lin Rui could kill him with one finger even if he didn't use the martial emperor divine spear. Lin Rui didn't give Long Batian any chance to speak. The moment he came behind Long Batian, he raised the martial emperor divine spear and stabbed it into Long Batian's back. The spear pierced through Long Batian's chest and into the ground. This happened so fast that no one could react. They only knew that Long Batian rushed out, but they didn't see Lin Rui's reaction. However, after this scene appeared in their eyes, everything was irreversible. Chapter 260. Everything was resolved at this moment. Lin Rui had no intention of killing the rest of the people from the Long family. He had kept his promise to Long Feng and killed the person in charge. As for the rest, it didn't matter if Lin Rui killed them or not. After all, he didn't want his image of a cold-blooded killer to be imprinted in his mother's heart. This wasn't something that he wanted to see, and it wasn't something that he wanted to see. At this moment, everyone present, including Shui Man had already forgotten about the kind and warm-hearted person in front of them. In their hearts, other than the cold-blooded person who killed without batting an eyelid, everything in the past had become a thing of the past. It was no longer worth remembering. Alright, remove the seal. Now that everything was resolved, Lin Rui's tense body and mind finally relaxed. Then, he raised his head and instructed the dark team members around the villa. The moment Lin Ray finished speaking, the 50 members of the dark team all removed their spiritual energy and returned to stand behind Lin Ray. The black figure from the dark team, who had been vigilant of the surroundings to prevent anyone from escaping, returned to Lin Ray's side and spoke respectfully to Lin Ray. Sect leader, what should we do with those people? Although they weren't the ones in charge, they were still indirectly involved. Do you need me? At this moment, the black figure looked at the dozens of people who had been captured by Long Feng. Long Badian and Long Shi, who were the ones in charge, were still alive. As such, the black figure asked for instructions from Lin Ray. However, he couldn't help but place a hand on his neck and make a killing gesture. Do as you deem fit. Remember, destroy all the corpses. We have killed their people, so we still have to clean up their mess. Although these words were nice, they were extremely harsh to the ears. It was as if he was mocking the Long family. Yes, your subordinate obeys. After receiving Lin Ray's permission, the black figure did not hesitate. He directly led a dozen people, and in the blink of an eye, the dozen people from the Long family who were originally standing had already fallen to the ground, dead. Then, a huge fire appeared on the bodies of those who had already died. Not long after, the deepest part of the Long family's villa returned to its original state. Even the smell of blood left behind by the killings was burned away at this moment. Killing and burning corpses is a common sight in the profound sky continent. There isn't a moment when people don't kill. However, this is an era of technology, an era that doesn't advocate cultivation. Therefore, when everyone saw this scene, their worldview was completely overturned. Everything had come to an end. At this moment, Linley's biggest thought was to quickly find a way to leave this place and go to a higher plane to train. He wanted to succeed in his training as soon as possible. After all, there was still a mission to rescue the Pai Xiu. Time waited for no man. Turning around, Lin Ray looked at his mother, Ouyang Jing, who had been standing behind him all this time. He said to her with a smile, "Mother, I have avenged you. Let's go home. In a while, I will ask the black figure to bring Lin Feng and Lin Ro back. This way, our family can be reunited." When he was in the profound sky continent, Lin Ray had been looking forward to this moment. It was also because of the motivation of having a family that Lin Ray had been able to cultivate so quickly and desperately. Therefore, at this moment, Lin Ray couldn't wait to go home immediately and personally cook a meal for Ouyang Jing so that the family could sit together and enjoy a reunion meal. Okay. Let's go then. At this moment, although Ouyang Jing had been frightened by the way her son had killed without batting an eyelid, after thinking about it, she felt that it was all for her. Therefore, at this moment, she felt relieved. Especially when she heard about her second son and third daughter, Ouyang Jing wanted to go home immediately. Okay. Seeing that his mother had agreed, Lin Ray hurriedly said to the black figure behind him, "Black figure, go to Yenjing University and bring Xiao Feng and Xiao Ro to Tianwan Garden. As for the car outside, find someone to drive it back." "Yes, I will do it right away." The black figure, who had been standing at the side waiting for the task, responded after hearing Lin Ray's order and disappeared on the spot. Before he left, he ordered someone to drive Lin Ray's car back to Tianwan Garden. "All right, mother. Close your eyes. When you open them again, we will be back at my place. Furthermore, I will have a kind and gentle daughter-in-law." Seeing that everything had been settled, Linley turned to his mother. After saying that, he circulated his spiritual energy and wrapped it around Ouyang Jing and Jin En. Then, he teleported and disappeared from the spot. Phew, he is finally gone. At this moment, the moment Lin Ray left, the group of people collapsed on the ground. Some of them even cried, including Shui Man. Even the 5 patriarchs weren't as strong as Linley. In the instant that Linley left, their taut nerves relaxed, and smiles appeared on their faces. All right, brother Long Feng. This time, the calamity of the Long family is over. As long as we don't provoke that person in the future, I believe that our lives will be better. At this moment, Su Chu, who was well aware of the situation, smiled and said to Long Feng, who was beside him, who was filled with helplessness. I hope so. Don't forget that there is still Long Zhong here. Do you think that he will be inferior to him? I don't dare to guarantee anything else, but I am certain that it is impossible for that person to acknowledge Long Zhong as his father. Perhaps, if you anger that person, it will bring disaster to the Long family again. After the other three heard Long Feng's words, they began to discuss. In the end, Long Feng decided to directly remove Long Zhong from his position as the patriarch of the Long family. Only this way, if he made a mistake in the future, he would not care about the Long family and do what he wanted to do. After all, he had already done so much for Long Zhong in the past. The Long family owed him. After the matter was settled, Su Chu and the other old ancestors did not stay any longer. After dispersing, they brought their descendants and left the Long family's villa in a hurry. Tianwan Garden. At the entrance of the Lin family's villa. After leaving the Long family's villa, Lin Rui, Ouyang Jing, and Jin En teleported back to their own villa. Phew. After returning to his own villa and seeing this familiar scene, Lin Rui heaved a sigh of relief and relaxed a lot. Mother, we are home. You can open your eyes now. Lin Rui couldn't help but remind his mother when he saw that her eyes were still tightly shut. After the spiritual energy dissipated, the three of them appeared in the courtyard of the villa. At this moment, Jin En opened his eyes first and ran into the villa. Perhaps he was going to call his mother, or perhaps he was hungry. No one knew. Hearing her son's words, Ouyang Jing slowly opened her eyes. However, due to her age, it was inevitable that her eyes would feel a little uncomfortable when she opened her eyes. Seeing this scene, Lin Rui couldn't help but feel sour in his heart. Fortunately, Lin Rui controlled himself well and didn't cry because of this. After her eyes adjusted, Ouyang Jing raised her head and looked at the house that belonged to her son. Looking at the villa, Ouyang Jing felt very gratified because this was what she had hoped for her son since he was young. And at this moment, Linli had clearly achieved it. Good. I knew that my son was the best. Mother is happy for you for having such achievements. At this moment, Ouyang Jing smiled. It was a kind of relaxed smile that came from the inside out. At this moment, this smile was deeply imprinted in Lin Rui's mind and could never be erased. Okay, let's go in. I don't know if your daughter-in-law is awake yet. Knowing that Jean Ling slept like that yesterday, he couldn't guarantee that Jean Ling was awake at this moment. Young people. Besides, she gave birth to such a chubby son for you. Is it wrong for her to sleep with him? Besides, didn't you often laze in bed in the past? I didn't say anything. In an instant, after hearing his mother's words, Lin Rui's face instantly turned into a bitter smile. He didn't expect that before he even saw his daughter-in-law, he would start to protect her. How was he going to live like this in the future? Okay. You're right. Sigh. It seems that there's no place for me in this family in the future. After a bitter laugh, Lin Rui held Ouyang Jing's hand and walked into the villa. However, just as he lifted his foot and before he could land, a familiar voice came from the villa in Lin Rui. Aya, hubby, why didn't you see mother when you went to pick her up? Your son knows. Aren't you being too biased? Jean Ling walked out in a hurry. When she saw Ouyang Jing, she grabbed her hand and said shyly, daughter-in-law Jean Ling greets mother. With the arrival of Jean En, Lin Rui finally understood that it was his son who had told Jean Ling. Thinking of this, when he saw the way Jean Ling looked at him when she came out, Lin Rui knew that tonight was not going to be a good night. However, Ouyang Jing liked her daughter-in-law the moment she saw Jean Ling, coupled with the fact that she called her mother. Ouyang Jing liked her even more. Aya, okay. We're all family. There's no need to be like this. TSK, I really didn't expect that our Ray could find such a virtuous and smart daughter-in-law. Not bad. At this moment, the more Ouyang Jing looked at Jean Ling, the more she liked her. In addition, this daughter-in-law had given birth to a chubby grandson for her, so Ouyang Jing liked her even more. You guys. Chapter 261. At this moment, Ouyang Jing pulled Jean Ling into the villa alone, but left Lin Ray outside, as if he had forgotten about her existence. Am I still your biological son? Everyone says that when you have a wife, you forget your mother. I think they are all wrong. When you have a wife, you forget your son. Although Lin Ray was very helpless at this moment, he was very happy in his heart. Because of his wife's identity and his mother's love, he was very happy. Sigh. Let's go. If your grandmother doesn't want us, then I'll go and cook for you. I'll let you grow up quickly and then find a daughter-in-law for me. After glancing at Jean N and saying something that Jean N didn't understand, he pulled him out of the villa. Walking into the villa, Ouyang Jing and Jean Ling were sitting on the sofa and talking about something. The two of them couldn't close their mouths from ear to ear. Seeing this scene, Lin Ray didn't go forward to disturb them. Instead, he walked into the kitchen alone and began to cook. At this moment, the black shadow that went to pick up Lin Feng and Lin Ro from Yenjing University had already returned. Behind him was the younger brother and sister that Lin Ray had asked him to pick up. However, at this moment, Lin Feng and Lin Ro ran into the villa with tears in their eyes with excitement. As soon as the two of them entered the door, they heard their mother and sister-in-law chatting and laughing. They hadn't heard this kind of laughter for a long time. When they heard it again, the tears in their eyes couldn't help but flow down. Mom. Ouyang Jing, who was chatting with Jean Ling, turned his head when he heard these two calls. He saw Lin Feng and Lin Ro standing at the door, crying. For a moment, Ouyang Jing didn't have time to chat with Jean Ling. He quickly stood up and walked towards his son and daughter who he hadn't seen for many years. Immediately, the three of them hugged each other and began to greet each other warmly. They even asked about boyfriend and girlfriend. Jean Ling, who was sitting on the sofa, didn't disturb them when she saw this scene. Instead, she quietly went to the kitchen. Sensing the arrival of his wife, Lin Ray did not make any movements. Instead, he continued to cook. However, at this moment, Jean Ling, who was behind Lin Ray, looked at her husband who was cooking. Tears instantly flowed from her eyes. She quickly stepped forward and hugged Lin Ray from behind. She leaned her head against Lin Ray's back and silently cried. Just now, when Jean Ling saw the scene between Ouyang Jing, Lin Feng, and Lin Ro, the memories that had been sealed away in her mind resurfaced. The memories of when she was in the profound heaven realm and with her grandfather involuntarily resurfaced. Lin Ray, who was cooking, felt that his wife was acting strangely. He stopped what he was doing and turned around. Seeing his wife crying, Lin Ray knew that she missed her grandfather. Ling, don't cry. I know you are Grandpa Zhang, but we don't know where Grandpa went. Since this is Grandpa's choice, then we should respect his choice. Moreover, don't you still have me? I will always be by your side. He turned around and hugged Jean Ling to comfort her. However, he knew that it would take a long time to suppress this feeling. Boo-hoo. I know, but I miss Grandpa very much. Just like this, the two hugged each other. After a long time, Jean Ling's longing for her family faded a little. Well, don't think about it. When I have the strength in the future, I will take you to the profound heaven realm to see why Grandpa left. Well, okay. Hearing her husband's words, Jean Ling agreed happily. Well, you go out and accompany your mother. I am still cooking. At this time, Lin Ray released his wife and turned around to start cooking. Jean Ling did not listen to her husband. Instead, she flowed down and began to help. The two began to get busy in the kitchen. In the hall outside, Lin Feng and Lin Ro told everything that had happened in the past few years, including how Lin Ray came to find them after he came back. They told them everything without missing a word. Similarly, Ouyang Jing also told Lin Feng and Lin Ro that Long Zhong was their father. He also told them that their father was still alive. However, it was better than before. When Lin Feng and Lin Ro learned that their father was still alive, they were overjoyed. They had been bullied since they were young. They were said to be wild children without a father. Every time, it was Lin Ray who helped them take revenge. Therefore, they longed to have a father. Feng Ro, your big brother seems to be very conflicted about this matter. He saw your father, but your big brother said that he would not recognize him. Why don't you calculate his death after you finish eating? At this time, Ouyang Jing was very worried about Long Zhong. In one day, his father and brother were killed by his son and grandson. This kind of pain was unimaginable. Moreover, his son did not recognize him. Therefore, Ouyang Jing wanted to return to Long Zhong's side, stay by his side, and comfort him. Mother, we can't do anything about this matter. Since Big Brother came back more than a year ago, everything has changed. At this time, we have no way to persuade Big Brother. Therefore, I'm afraid this matter is very difficult. After hearing his mother's words, Lin Feng did not agree or refuse. Instead, he told his mother what he knew. That's right, mother. Besides, Big Brother is also a father. He knows the difficulties of being a father. Therefore, if Big Brother wanted to acknowledge me, he would have done so before. Therefore, this matter. After hearing her two sons' words, Ouyang Jing fell silent. She knew that her two sons' words were very reasonable. At this time, Lin Ray, who was in the kitchen, heard all the conversation between the three of them. This was something that Ouyang Jing and the others did not know. Without speaking, Lin Ray continued to cook. Soon, after the meal was ready, Lin Ray put all the dishes on the table. Then, he took out a jar of huadiao wine and walked out. Mother, brother, Xiaoro, come and eat. The food won't taste good if it gets cold. After arriving at the table, Lin Ray called out to Ouyang Jing, Lin Ro, and Lin Feng, who were sitting on the sofa. He sat down alone. Okay. The whole family sat around the table at noon. Lin Ray opened the jar of huadiao wine. Everyone drank a little, except for Jean En. Then, he said with a smile. Mother, I've been waiting for this day for a long time. Therefore, this glass of wine is for our reunion. After speaking, Lin Ray drank a glass of wine directly. Perhaps because he was relaxed and happy to see his family, after a glass of wine, he was tipsy. Chapter 262. Slow down. Hubby, drink slowly. Jean Ling, who was sitting next to him, looked at the big bowl of wine being drunk by her husband. She was a little worried. Hee, it's okay. I'm happy today. It's okay to drink some wine. Besides, if this little wine can knock me down, then you're underestimating your husband too much. Looking at his wife's worry, Lin Ray gave Jean Ling a reassuring smile. Then, he picked up the wine again and drank. Gulp, gulp sounds came from Lin Ray's throat. He didn't eat the food at all. Only the wine was left. Soon, Lin Ray finished the big bowl of wine by himself. Because he was overjoyed to see his parents and be reunited with his family, Lin Li had completely let go of all the wariness he had been keeping up with. Ouyang Jing, who had been watching this scene, felt very uncomfortable. He had never seen his son drink alcohol before, but now, he had finished a large pot of wine without feeling anything. He did not dare to imagine what had happened to his son in the past few years. Ray, I didn't plan to tell you about today's matter. Maybe it will hurt you, but I still want to say it. Lin Ray, who was happy, suddenly heard his mother's words. He knew what she was going to say next. I know what you want to say, but you don't have to say it. I will never acknowledge him. So, mother, you don't have to say it. Before Ouyang Jing could finish, Lin Ray directly rejected her. His attitude was so resolute that he didn't leave any room for negotiation. This made Ouyang Jing very sad. Big brother. Big brother, you. Lin Ro also wanted to mediate, but before she could say anything, Lin Feng beat her to it. Humph, have you forgotten? What kind of life did we live when we were young? Every day, there were all kinds of children bullying us. They said that we were children without fathers. Because of this, we fought with them almost every day. Have you forgotten all these? No one knew if it was because he was afraid of losing her or something else, but Lin Ray was so excited when he spoke that the wine glass in his hand was crushed. Bang! The loud sound made Lin Feng tremble. He quickly sat down and didn't dare to say anything else. Lin Ro and Ouyang Jing were even more so. They all knew that Lin Ray's life was very miserable when he was young. Every day, he had to bear the name of having no father and bully those who bullied his younger siblings. But no one said that his childhood was very miserable. Alright, let's not talk about this anymore. Mother has already told you that she has found that person. If you want to reunite with each other, I, Lin Ray, will not stop you. You can even change your names. After all, you are already adults. You are no longer children who rely on me to survive. Lin Ray knew that after his mother told them about Long Zhong, this day would come sooner or later. It was only a matter of time. Therefore, Lin Ray didn't stop them. After all, they wanted to follow their father's life when they were very young. Lin Ray shouldn't be like them. Lin Ray's words had just left his mouth when the mother and children sitting opposite him looked at Lin Ray with eyes full of surprise. At this moment, they didn't know what Lin Ray was thinking. Sigh. Actually, I don't want to say anything more. I originally didn't have time to accompany you. The main purpose this time was to find Mother and then give you enough support so that people wouldn't dare to look down on you. I wanted to let you live a good life. But now, it seems that there's no need. At this moment, Lin Ray decided to tell the news that he was about to leave. However, it seemed that everything he had done before was now in vain. His mother and the others no longer needed the Nine Heavens Trading Company. After Lin Ray laughed self-deprecatingly, a jar of flower diao wine suddenly appeared in his hand. After sealing it, he raised his head and began to pour it into his mouth. Gulp. Gulp. The sound was like a heart, directly striking the hearts of the three people. However, Lin Ray's actions stunned Lin Feng and Lin Ro, who were arranging what was going on. Big brother, this wine is, how? Lin Ro, who was sitting across from Linley, couldn't hold back her curiosity and asked Linley. Her tone was filled with curiosity. Phew. Mother, I know that you want to return to that person's side. Moreover, you're willing to bring Lin Feng and Lin Ro with you. You even asked them to persuade me. However, what you don't know is that I came back this time to see you. As for what happened after that, I didn't expect it. Fortunately, this matter has been resolved. I have nothing to miss here anymore. I've left the mortal world and my heart is free. There's nothing here for me to miss anymore. There's no place for me here. Beside him, Ouyang Jing had been thinking about what her son meant. At this moment, Ouyang Jing was even more certain that her son was going to leave her again. Thinking of this, Ouyang Jing became anxious. It was so difficult for her family to reunite. She hadn't even had a chance to properly talk and now she was going to leave. What was she going to do? No. No, son, you can't leave. You've already left for 2 years. I won't let you leave. Ouyang Jing was scared. She was really scared. She was afraid of separation. She was afraid that her eldest son would leave her again. She didn't want to suffer a second separation. None of this was what she wanted. What? Big brother, you're leaving? Why? Where are you going? Yes, big brother, why are you leaving again? Isn't it good for our family to live together? Lin Feng and Lin Ro came out of their daze after hearing the conversation between their mother and brother. Thinking that their brother was going to leave again, the two of them hurriedly expressed their doubts. They didn't want to see their brother leave without knowing the reason. Leave? Yes. I'm leaving. I've been back for more than 2 years. I've done what I needed to do. You have someone to rely on and don't need me anymore. Since that's the case, it's time for me to find my Tao. Only Lin Feng and Lin Ro didn't understand Lin Rei's words. Everyone else understood the meaning of Lin Rei's words. What Tao? I only know that, big brother, you can't leave us. At most, we won't acknowledge you. We won't acknowledge that person anymore. Please don't leave, okay? The two of them foolishly thought that their brother was leaving because of the person they wanted. In fact, they didn't know that Lin Rei had planned for a long time. Well, you can go now. I know that your dream since childhood is to live a father's life. Now, your wish has been fulfilled. But my life is not here. My life is destined to be full of blood and bodies. So, our lives are different. Once, I wanted to take you with me, but you chose to live a peaceful life first. Moreover, I don't want to see you become people who treat human lives like grass. So, after all, we're not on the same path. With that, Lin Rei stood up. He ignored everyone and went straight to his room. He left everyone. Alas. Mother, don't blame husband. With that, Jean Ling also stood up and walked to her room. She knew that her husband was in pain at this time. She couldn't help him. The only thing she could do for him was to accompany him. At this moment, the 4 people at the table were all silent. They didn't know that this would happen today, and they didn't understand why. Of course, only Ouyang Jing and Jean En knew. Mother, why? Why did brother say such things? What do you mean by bodies floating for thousands of miles? What the hell is this? Finally, Lin Feng, who had been silent for a long time, asked the doubts in his heart. He was sure that his mother definitely knew something about it. Feng, maybe you don't know. In this world, there are not only ordinary people, but also special people. Maybe you've heard of cultivators, or maybe you think that cultivators are made up in novels. But what I want to tell you is that cultivators really exist, and your brother is a cultivator. If I'm not wrong, your sister-in-law and nephew are also cultivators. With that, Ouyang Jing's eyes turned to Jean En, wanting to confirm the accuracy of this matter. Well, Grandma is right. Here, except for you, everyone else is a cultivator. However, my mother and father's cultivation has reached a certain level, and they are about to break through to the immortal level. I'm just a child who has just started cultivating. Boom. After getting the confirmation of this matter, Lin Feng and Lin Ro's minds went blank. They couldn't believe that their nephew and sister-in-law, who had lived with them for more than a year, were cultivators that they couldn't even imagine and could only imagine. Their worldview was completely subverted at this moment. They found it hard to believe that what their mother said was true. Well, Grandma, take your time to eat. I'll go back to my room first. As for what you want to know more, you can only tell Long Zhong from the Long family. I believe that he will be very willing to tell you everything, and even teach you cultivation methods for you to cultivate. After Jean En explained to them, he didn't say anything more. Instead, he stood up and said goodbye to them, but the way he said goodbye was a bit special. Slowly, Jean En left, and so did Queen Sentixiu. Only Long Feng and Lin Ro were left in the living room. When the two of them came back to their senses, it was already very, very late. Therefore, the two of them didn't say anything and returned to their respective rooms to lie on their beds. However, tonight was destined to be a sleepless night. Chapter 263. Lin Rei and Jean Ling, who had returned to their rooms, lay on the bed and slept soundly. However, on the surface, Lin Rei looked like he was sleeping soundly, but in fact, he had entered the system. Lin Rei, who had just returned to his room, lay on the bed and let you enter the system in order to ask the little dragon about the entrance to leave this place and go to a higher plane to cultivate. Jean Ling then returned to the room and saw that her husband had fallen asleep. She thought that Lin Rei was like this because he was too sad, so she did not care. Instead, she snuggled up in Lin Rei's arms and fell asleep. At this time, in a space in the system, Lin Rei looked at the little dragon who had appeared and asked, "Little dragon, I've finished the matter here. Tell me, how can we leave here and go to a higher plane?" To Xiaolong, Lin Li didn't need to beat around the bush, because there was no need to. After all, the two of them had known each other for many years and had already become indispensable friends. Although the two of them would occasionally bicker, this was just their way of talking. "Oh. So fast. When you were in Tianxian, didn't you insist on coming back? Moreover, at that time, you wanted to stay here for a few decades. Why? You've only been back for a few years and you can't stay anymore?" Looking at Lin Rei's appearance, the little dragon did not hide its teasing at Lin Rei. It had a despicable and annoying look. Sigh. To be honest, when I was in Tianxian, I had been working hard to come back. Even if I encountered danger, as long as I could increase the chance to go home, would do everything to work toward this goal. However, after I was released, I worked hard to find my mother. Now that I've found my mother, I'm at a loss. At that moment, Lin Rei's eyes were filled with confusion. After finding his mother, taking revenge for her, and reuniting with his family, Lin Li's nerves, which had been stretched taut for a long time, suddenly relaxed. His heart was at a loss. He didn't know what to do next. There was always a voice in his heart telling him that he didn't belong in this life. And so, Lin Li had come. He had come to ask Xiaolong for a solution. "Haha. I knew that you wouldn't be able to stay here for long, but I didn't expect that you would only stay here for a year." At this moment, the little dragon was in the air with his hands behind his back. From the back, he looked like an enlightened master. However, from the front, coupled with his words, he looked like a gangster. "Oh, then hurry up and tell me how to leave this place. An easy life will only wear away my will. Only by fighting, only in the cultivation world can I continue to move forward." Lin Rei was really anxious. Although he had just broken through to the peak of the Mahayana realm, he could feel that his realm had stagnated. Moreover, his cultivation base and spiritual energy didn't seem to be as strong as before. As soon as this point appeared, Lin Rei couldn't help but start to worry. The richness and thinness of spiritual energy was related to whether he could fight with people of the same level. It couldn't be ignored. Yes. When I first came here, I read all the information here. However, unfortunately, I found that the teleportation formation here has been seriously damaged. There's basically no possibility of repairing it. What? Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Rei exclaimed and looked at the little dragon in disbelief. How could this be? Then what should I do? Then I can't leave. After the exclamation, Lin Rei's face showed a disappointed expression. This scene made the little dragon in the air excited. However, Mo Wang's face was still calm. "However, if you can upgrade the level of the formation to the celestial level, I believe you can still create a teleportation formation. Maybe there will be an unexpected surprise. I'll beat you to death, you damn child." Lin Rei, who originally thought that there was no hope, suddenly heard the little dragon's words and became angry. He didn't expect that at this time, he was still in the mood to tease him. Hee, okay, don't make trouble. Looking at Lin Ray, who was about to make a move, the little dragon's back couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. A moment ago, he was still smiling mischievously. The next moment, he began to talk seriously to Lin Ray about how to build a teleportation formation. I've read it. If you want to leave, you must reach the peak of the celestial level. Moreover, the most important thing is that when you came back, the system only gave you 10 years. Now, almost 2 years have passed, so you can only break through to the celestial level in the remaining 8 years. Otherwise, you know the consequences. What, 8 years? At this moment, Linley was very unwilling to believe it. If he had known earlier, when he had broken through to become a heavenly tier alchemist, he had gone through life and death situations and had the help of the elf tribe. But now, there was nothing here except for that emperor-level array book. No matter how awesome he was, he couldn't have broken through to the peak of the heavenly tier by himself. Well, is there any other way? You know, the peak of the celestial level is not a cabbage or radish that can be found everywhere on the street. This requires time to settle down and rich experience to break through. Look at me, a newbie who doesn't know anything. Do you think I have the ability to break through to the peak of the celestial level in the next 8 years? After hearing Lin Ray's words, the little dragon, who originally had a serious expression, instantly revealed a look of contempt and ridicule. He looked at Lin Ray on the ground as if he was teaching his good-for-nothing child a lesson. He didn't care that Lin Ray had met him and scolded him directly. Rotten wood can't be carved. I say, Linley, are you an idiot? You're usually so clever. Why is it that when it comes to serious matters, your cleverness is all gone? What? Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Ray was stunned at first. Then, he asked the little dragon for guidance with a courteous attitude. I know, little dragon, you're the best. I'm on fire now. How can I still have time to think? Hurry up and tell me. Looking at Lin Ray's appearance, the little dragon also knew that now was not the time to fool around. Then, he began to seriously talk to Lin Ray about the solution. Have you forgotten? Didn't I give you a spatial immortal weapon called the Cosmos Bell before? You can use the time difference between inside and outside to cultivate your formation. That way, only 3 or 4 days will have passed outside for a year inside. The little dragon's words enlightened Lin Ray. At this moment, Lin Ray really wanted to find a hole in the ground and crawl into it. Chapter 264. Okay, I'll go and prepare now. I'll go into seclusion immediately. But before that, there are some things that need to be solved first. After speaking, Lin Ray's consciousness returned to his body. However, it was still night, so Lin Ray did not get up. Instead, he fell asleep with his wife in his arms. On the horizon, a ray of morning glow slowly rose. It was so beautiful that people would fall in love with it. In the blink of an eye, the night passed. Lin Ray woke up early in the room and made breakfast. Then, he woke everyone up for breakfast. At this moment, all the family members were sitting at the dining table. However, because time had passed, except for Ouyang Jing, Jean Ling, and Lin Ray, the others all looked at the food on the table with sleepy eyes. They had no appetite. Their faces were full of unhappiness, but they did not dare to vent it out. They could only hold it in their stomachs. Mother, you woke you up today. It's very simple. Don't you want to go to Longzhong? Since that's the case, you guys can go after this meal. As for Lin Feng and Lin Ro, if they want to follow you, you can take them with you. Lin Ray's casual words shocked the sleepy siblings, Ouyang Jing, and the others. They did not know why their son, brother, would mention such a thing at this time. They were very confused. At the same time, Ouyang Jing was also very surprised. He wanted to return to Long Zhong's side, but he did not expect it to be so fast. Moreover, it was his son who brought it up. Ray, what are you doing? Yes, brother, what's wrong with you? At this time, the mother and the children were very puzzled. What was wrong with their brother this early in the morning? Nothing. It's just that I have something to do in a while and have to leave for a few years. Moreover, in here, I may not have contact with the outside world, so you are here. I can't see you either. Didn't mother tell you about Long Zhong when she came back? I know that you want to have a father, so you can go. Silence, everyone was silent. Ouyang Jing, in particular, teared up when he heard what Lin Rui said. His throat wriggled as if he wanted to say something, but it was blocked by an unknown thing and he couldn't speak. It was even more so for Lin Feng and Lin Ro. When they heard Lin Rui's words, they didn't know what to say. To be honest, when Lin Rui came back, they felt that they had been separated from each other for more than 2 years. However, as they got along, their feelings for each other became stronger and even better than before. Lin Rui and Lin Feng had mixed feelings at the moment. They really wanted their father, but for their older brother, they wanted their older brother to accompany them. After all, there was no one else in their childhood apart from their older brother. It could be said that Lin Rui was like a father to them, giving them fatherly love that they had lost. At this moment, they hesitated. It was difficult for them to make such a choice. In the end, they looked helplessly at their mother beside them for help. All right, little Feng and little Ro, I know you really want it, but it's also difficult for you to make a choice. However, father is a very important existence to you, but to me, he's just an illusory existence, a dispensable existence. So, go with mother. If you want to come back to see me, it's still possible. However, I might not be around for the next few years. If there's anything, just look for the black shadow guarding the villa. He'll help you solve all the problems you want to solve. After he finished speaking, Lin Rui didn't say anything else. Because at this moment, Lin Rui's heart was already aching. He didn't want to be separated from his newly reunited family, but Lin Rui couldn't force his will on them. If that was the case, Lin Rui would rather not have such a family relationship. Sigh. All right. Since you've already made up your mind, I won't say anything else. Ouyang Jing, who had been staring at Lin Rui, observed her son for a long time. But in the end, Ouyang Jing only observed his determination, incomparable determination. Therefore, she knew that this matter was already set in stone and couldn't be changed. What? Mother, you're right, aren't you? We've just been reunited with Big Brother. Why do you want to look for someone we've never seen before who claims to be our father? Hearing her mother's words, Lin Ro was unwilling for a moment. In the past year, or even more than 10 years before that, her elder brother had spent all of it with her. Now, they had to be separated. How could she bear this? Yes, mother. This time, I agree with sister. That person claims to be our father, but we've never seen him before. As for Big Brother, he has indeed been with us all this time. When we were bullied by others, it was Big Brother who rushed forward alone and chased away those who bullied us. All these years, if it wasn't for Big Brother, we probably wouldn't have been able to live so well. Moreover, now that our standard of living has improved, why do we still have to look for him? Perhaps because he knew that Lin Rui was about to be separated, Lin Feng couldn't control his emotions and shouted. When the few people around saw this scene, they were all stunned. Usually, Lin Feng was the calmest. After encountering any situation, he would treat it with a calm attitude. But now, this was the first time Lin Rui and the others had seen him like this. That's enough. At this moment, when he saw that the situation was about to get out of hand, Lin Rui hurriedly stepped forward to stop them. Impudent. How can you talk to your mother like that? Lin Rui knew that his younger brother and sister were like this because they couldn't bear to part with him. However, Lin Rui really wanted them to live in a peaceful and realistic world. How good would it be if the family was happy? He didn't want his younger brother and sister to live like him, licking the blood from the knife's edge. A life where they might be killed every day. This wasn't what Lin Ray wanted. I know that you can't bear to part with me, but have you thought about Mother? Compared to me, Mother obviously needs you more. When I'm not around, you have to take care of Mother as much as possible. Don't let her suffer any harm. If I come back and find that Mother has lost weight or is injured, then you'll have to wait for my punishment. We understand. After hearing their elder brother's words, they knew that this matter couldn't be reversed, so they could only agree. After all, they all felt that their elder brother was right. All right, take this card. You can buy whatever wine you want in the future. After all, it's better to take your family's money and spend it comfortably than to be given by others. As he spoke, Lin Ray took out 2 black cards from his pocket and handed them to Lin Feng and Lin Ro. His eyes were filled with reluctance as he spoke. Hearing their elder brother's words, Lin Feng and Lin Ro raised their heads. Looking at the cards in front of them, they took them without hesitation and put them in their pockets. Well, you should have the ability to protect yourselves. So, from today onwards, you two have to come here every day to cultivate. I'll send someone to watch over you and guide you. Although I don't want you to step into this world of corpses and blood, in today's world, if you don't have the ability to protect yourself, then you're like a piece of fat meat on the knife's edge. You can only be slaughtered by others. Ah. Really? After hearing Linley's words, the 2 of them instantly became interested. The 2 of them were looking forward to cultivating, but without Linley's permission, they didn't dare to do it. Elder brother, are you really going to let us cultivate? Yes. Looking at his younger brother and sister's happy smiles, Lin Ray's heart was filled with a sense of satisfaction. However, cultivation is a very difficult and boring thing. Just like a person, in order to break through a realm, it's possible to cultivate for hundreds of years without leaving the house. So, if you step into the cultivation world, you have to overcome these difficulties and walk to the end without fear of hardships. Lin Ray was at ease about this. After all, the 2 of them had followed him since they were young. So, Lin Ray trusted them very much. At the same time, he also believed that they could cultivate to an unimaginable level. Okay, we know. We will definitely not let our elder brother's church down. We will definitely study hard and practice hard. We will not waste our time. At this moment, Lin Feng and Lin Ro were very excited. Since yesterday, when they heard about cultivation, the 2 of them didn't sleep at all. They spent the whole night thinking about how they could also cultivate. They didn't expect that the next morning, their dream would become a reality. Okay, you guys hurry up and eat. After eating, leave with your mother. Remember, you have to come back to study every day. You can't miss a day. With that, Lin Ray stood up, turned around, and walked upstairs. However, the moment he turned around, his originally smiling face collapsed instantly. His face was full of reluctance as he left. At this time, Jean Ling also stood up and said goodbye to Ouyang Jing. Then, she followed Lin Ray back to the room. When Lin Ray was talking just now, she was present the whole time. She was very surprised that Lin Ray was going to leave. She didn't know that her husband was going to leave, so she had to figure out what was going on. Dong! Jean Ling, who came to the room, angrily closed the door and made a loud noise. She came to the bed and sat down unhappily. Lin Ray, who was sitting on the sofa, couldn't help but smile bitterly in his heart when he saw his wife's situation. Sigh. Why did I forget to tell Ling Er first? Now, it seems that Ling Er is angry. With that thought, Lin Ray immediately stood up and walked towards Jean Ling step by step. He cooked on the bed with a smile on his face. In an instant, a hand blocked Jean Ling's eyes and begged. My dear wife, I was wrong. Everything is my fault. I didn't inform you in advance. Tell me, how do you want to punish me? I'll endure it. At this moment, Lin Rei was shamelessly fawning on Jean Ling. If this scene were to be seen, those people would be shocked. Alright, I'm not angry with you anymore. But first, you have to tell me why you said you were going to leave for a few years. You're not going to go into seclusion again, are you? Ling knows me better than anyone. After seeing his own days and confessing his intentions, Lin Rei showed the main reason for his seclusion this time. I went into seclusion this time to study formations. I observed planet Aqua Blue and found that there is no longer a teleportation formation here. So, as long as I cultivate to the level of a heavenly formation master, I will be able to draw a teleportation formation myself and leave this place. Oh, I see. After hearing her husband's explanation, Lin Rei was relieved. She didn't want to interfere with this matter. After all, she also wanted to leave this place. Then how many years are you going to be in seclusion? Last time, you were in seclusion for a year. This time, It was hard to imagine that last time, he was in seclusion for a year just to break through his cultivation. But now, he was practicing formations. Jean Ling had read about formations in ancient books. Every time a formation master advanced, the difficulty would increase exponentially. Therefore, Jean Ling didn't dare to imagine how long her husband would be in seclusion. Sigh. There's no other way. There's no teleportation formation here. But don't worry, it won't be long before I can cultivate to the heaven rank. I promise you. Lin Rei knew that since he recovered his memory, the time he spent with Jean Ling became shorter and shorter. They might not even see each other for a few years. But what could he do? Well, then, go ahead. I'll help you take care of this place. I'll urge my son to practice hard and study hard. Don't worry and go into seclusion. I'll help you take care of everything outside properly. At this moment, the only thing Jean Ling could do for her husband, who was about to go into seclusion, was to help him take care of the trivial matters outside so that he could rest assured. Well, it's good to have you. Looking at such a well-behaved colleague's wife in his arms, Lin Rei felt extremely happy. After that, Lin Rei and Jean Ling cuddled for a while, then disappeared from the room. They went into the heaven and earth bell and began their seclusion. In the outside world, Jean Ling knew that her husband had gone into seclusion, so she quickly went outside and told Ouyang Jing and the others. After that, Ouyang Jing left Tianwan Garden according to Lin Rei's words and went to the Long family's villa. He brought Lin Feng and Lin Ro and successfully moved into the Long family's villa. However, they still went to Tianwan Garden to practice every day as Lin Rei had instructed. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, 8 years had passed and many people had changed. It had been 8 years since Lin Rei went into seclusion. During these 8 years, Ouyang Jing would go to Tianwan Garden every year for a while and bring Long Zhong, Lin Feng, and Lin Ro. However, during these 8 years, Lin Rei had always been in seclusion. In 8 years, his son, Jean En, who was originally 6 years old, had now grown into a 14-year-old young man. He was fair and clean, looking like a rich young master. Chapter 265. 8 years have passed, and everyone is changing. However, during these 8 years, Lin Rei has always been sitting in the Cosmos Bell, practicing the way of array formation. In the past 8 years, Lin Rei's cultivation of array formation could be considered to have reached a small level. It could be said that it was enough to draw a teleportation array and leave by himself. During this period of time, although the way of array formation had been cultivated to the peak of the heaven stage, his cultivation did not change at all. He was still at the peak of the Deshang stage. However, if the current Lin Rei was compared to the Lin Rei before his closed-door cultivation, Lin Rei could destroy his previous self into ashes. Although in the past 8 years, his cultivation did not increase, the purity of his spiritual power had indeed greatly improved. Moreover, not only the purity of his spiritual power, but his realm had also improved to a terrifying level. From the realm of the earth immortal, he had advanced to the realm of the great principal golden immortal. The current Lin Rei could advance at any time as long as he hesitated about his experience and spiritual power, and there was no sign of instability in his foundation. In the past 8 years, although Lin Rei could not practice any cultivation method, Lin Rei had experienced the truth of the great Tao from the way of array formation. Although it was vague, he, who was at the peak of the Desheng stage, touched on something that even a golden immortal might not be able to do. Although on the surface, Lin Rei had been in closed-door cultivation for 8 years, in fact, it was not. The time in the Cosmos Bell was different from the time in the outside world. Although 8 years had passed in the outside world, Lin Rei had already spent thousands of years in the Cosmos Bell. Otherwise, let alone a heaven stage array master, he could not even become a profound stage array master in 8 years. Moreover, the reason why he could become a heaven stage array master in 8 years was more because Lin Rei already had the spirit of a heaven stage array master. Therefore, Lin Rei had a unique opportunity in this regard. During this period, Lin Rei had already learned the second level of the Chaos Scripture. What surprised Lin Rei was that the second level could be cultivated directly to the immortal stage. Although Lin Rei was very excited, his soul had been cultivating for a long time, so he was already mentally prepared. Therefore, although Lin Rei was very excited, Lin Rei did not show it. Phew. Within the Cosmos Bell, in the space where Linley was located, Linley, who had his eyes tightly shut, suddenly opened them. In the darkness, a bright light flashed through Linley's eyes. At this moment, Linley's eyes revealed a look of vicissitudes that made it hard for others to fathom. This was completely inconsistent with his youthful appearance. You must guard against arrogance and rashness, and work harder than before. Otherwise, all of this will be lost sooner or later. Damn it. At this moment, after hearing the little dragon's words, he was originally happy about breaking through to the heaven rank array master, but at this moment, all of that mood vanished like smoke in thin air. Anger surged up, and he couldn't hold it in anymore. I say, little dragon, you didn't look at the almanac before you went out. This one sentence directly stunned the little dragon. Although Lin Rei knew a lot of things, he had never heard of something like the almanac. Almanac? What almanac? Sure enough, I knew it. Otherwise, you would know that today, you'll have a bloody disaster. The moment he finished speaking, Lin Rei stood up, pounced on the little dragon, and began all kinds of torture. But during the process, the little dragon didn't seem to feel any discomfort. In the end, Lin Rei could only helplessly stop. I say, even if you don't feel anything, can't you cooperate? You're making me lose face. At this moment, Lin Rei's anger had subsided. He remembered what the little dragon said before, but no one would be able to resist saying such things when he was happy. Oh, next time I'll work hard to cooperate with you. The little dragon's one sentence directly left Lin Rei speechless. He didn't know what to say next. Okay, stop fooling around. Now that the spell formation has broken through, what should we do next? At this moment, Lin Rei sat back in his original place and began to ask the little dragon for advice in a serious manner. The little dragon also knew the seriousness of this matter, so he didn't say much. Instead, he directly told Lin Rei what to do next. I know that you've broken through to the heaven rank, so the next thing is to properly say goodbye to your family in the little time you have left. Then, go to a place with excellent scenery and draw a 9 spirits teleportation array. Only then can we leave this place. What, a 9 spirits teleportation array? Lin Rei, who originally had a relaxed expression, instantly frowned and revealed a dangerous expression after hearing the little dragon talk about the spell formation. Lin Rei knew about the 9 spirits teleportation array. When he was cultivating as a formation master, he had seen it in an Emperor-level spell formation book. The 9 Spirits Teleportation Array was a peak heaven rank spell formation. It was different from ordinary spell formations. Ordinary teleportation arrays could teleport from one end to another, but the 9 Spirits Teleportation Array was different. It could only teleport once, and there was no specific location. As long as you activated the 9 Spirits Teleportation Array, then what happened next was not up to you. The difficulty of drawing it was also very high. Therefore, when Lin Ray heard that the 9 Spirits Teleportation Array was enough, he understood the difficulty of this matter. Little dragon, are you sure you want to set up the 9 Spirits Teleportation Array? He doesn't teleport to a fixed location. No one knows where he'll be teleported to. Won't you be in danger by doing this? Although Lin Ray had the courage to break through, he still had some misgivings about this point. One had to know that this kind of teleportation array generally only had a 0.1% success rate. No one was willing to use this kind of teleportation array. Therefore, this kind of teleportation array was listed as a heaven rank spell formation. That's right, this is what I want. You have to know that cultivation is originally going against the heavens. Everything is already predestined. If you want to follow the will of the heavens, then you can only live under the Great Tao for the rest of your life and become a pawn of the Great Tao, a puppet. If you don't want to be like this, then you can only go against the heavens and walk your own path. On this path, there are all kinds of life-threatening dangers. You can't be overcautious every time you encounter such dangers. You will only lose more and you won't be able to do anything. Boom! It was as if a shackle had been lifted after the little dragon's words. It was as if the shackles that had been sealing Lin Ray were opened. At this moment, Lin Ray suddenly understood. The Great Tao was merciless, and cultivation defied the heavens. It turned out that the realm of the Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal had directly risen to the middle stage of the Immortal Monarch realm. Good, well said. Cultivation defies the heavens, and the Great Tao is merciless. Good, you're right. At this moment, Lin Ray's eyes flashed. His eyes were much brighter than before, as if Lin Ray had understood a lot at this moment. That's right. Besides, you're my host. Would I harm you? Looking at Lin Ray, the little dragon revealed a smile of satisfaction. Well, we'll do as you said and draw the 9 Spirits Teleportation Array. However, the cost of drawing this kind of array is very high. Don't you think you'll have to? After saying this, Lin Ray stretched out his hand and asked for something from the little dragon. You? What do you mean? I'm telling you, I don't have anything, but I do have a life. Take it if you want it. Having said that, the little dragon stretched its neck in front of Lin Ray like a rascal. Damn, you're not asking me to pay for the array out of my own pocket, are you? There are tens of thousands of people behind me. You. I don't care. Anyway, I'm not the one who wants to leave. I really want to stay here. Anyway, I don't have anything. The two of them, one after the other, began to talk without any forewarning, all for the sake of drawing up the necessary materials for the 9 Spirits Transfer Array. In the end, Linley had no choice but to reluctantly part with his treasures and pay out of his own pocket. It's fine if that's the case. You made me waste so much time here. However, although I can't give you what you want, don't forget that your array has broken through to the peak of the heaven stage. The system has a lot of rewards for you, but here, the system can't do anything about it. So, if you want it, quickly leave this place and enter the system. Just as Lin Ray was feeling sad that he was about to use up his family's resources, the little dragon's words made him feel much better. Before the little dragon finished speaking, Lin Ray left the place and entered the system. Wow, it's really different. The system's scenery and the cosmos clock are on a different level. It's pitch black there, but here, it's full of birds and flowers, mountains and rivers. It's so beautiful. Lin Ray, who had spent 1,000 years in darkness, was stunned and sighed when he saw this scene again. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for breaking through to the heaven stage. These sudden words pulled the stunned Linley back to reality. Raising his head, he saw that all of his information had appeared in front of him. Only, there were a few things that hadn't been there before. Name, Lin Ray. Age, 32. Cultivation, peak of the Mahayana realm experience, 3:000:000/3/600:000:000. Spiritual roots, thunder, fire, wood, metal chaos. Spiritual roots talent, middle stage immortal monarch realm cultivation method, second stage of the primal chaos scripture, incomplete. Devouring heavenly technique, growable, primordial pill refinement, entry cultivation method, cloud formula, emperor grade cultivation method, same formation, emperor grade cultivation method, tyrant body. Technique, emperor grade cultivation method, martial skills, butterfly steps, entry level, star finger, proficient, silent thunder spear art, high level dark level martial skill, now practice to the entry level, can produce 3 thunderbolts, myriad sword art, heaven stage, level 3 incineration, emperor level, dragon subduing step, emperor level, Shura spear art, king level, Shura sword formation, king level, divine changes, emperor level, spiritual treasures, martial emperor godly spear. High level spiritual chi, growable, myriad magic sword, gradeless, myriad beasts furnace, heaven and earth bell, supreme grade celestial artifact, heavenly temple, upper grade celestial artifact, equipment, cloud treading boots, spiritual weapon upper grade, purple cloud robe, spiritual weapon upper grade, purple cloud inner armor, spiritual weapon upper grade, purple jade crown, immortal artifact low grade, purple jade wood king hairpin, immortal artifact low grade, middle grade celestial artifact set carefree. Mount, red flame tiger, peak of the Mahayana realm, lucky draw wheel, 2 War General Lottery system. The War General Lottery opportunity has been used up. This system has been permanently sealed. Reputation points, 130,000 exchange points, 0 spiritual stones, 0 heaven stage alchemist, 36850500000, heaven stage array master, 500,0050000, top grade spiritual herbs, heaven and earth treasures, purple gold nephrite, purple gold sand, purple gold nephrite, 50 kilograms. Purple gold godly iron, 50 kilograms. Side mission, within 300 years, reach the cultivation level that the system thinks of. If you can't complete it, the system has the right to directly kill you. When your strength is improved again, rescue the suppressed Pi Show. Medicinal pills, 11 mind control pills, 8,000 mind control pills. You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.